Future of Wrestling podcast right here on Future Entertainment, and I'm not alone. Travis, who else is with us? The Slam Pigs podcast.
What's going on?
What's up, Travis? How you doing?
Doing good. Good to be back. Thank you for having me on. Yes, Slam Pigs are in the house.
Yep, we also have one of the other Slam Pigs co-hosts, Colin Dunn.
I like how I'm still considered a co-host. Like I said, on that Brock Lesnar schedule, got to do the post shows for the Big Fours. You'll never see, you won't see me until the Rumble, I'm sure, after this. But it's good to be doing this. Good to be doing something with Travis again. I haven't done anything with Travis in a while.
Yeah, I was just as surprised as you to see the Slam Pigs logo on the thumbnail. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's the internet. It'll never die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not dead. For everyone that thinks that, no, it's on a big time hiatus. You know, work schedules, schooling, but it's coming. It's coming.
It is coming, guys. But Survivor Series came and it left and went. So you guys ready to talk about some Survivor Series?
I'm ready to try and talk about whatever the fuck happened tonight.
Good point. Now, Travis, before we even start on Survivor Series, I do want to get your opinions on last night's NXT TakeOver War Games 2.
Man, I say it all the time, continually. The most consistent pay-per-view / event, you want to call it, for any promotion, even more than New Japan, I'd say, is NXT. It always delivers. I cannot remember a bad takeover since, 2014, honestly. And tonight was no different. Or last night, excuse me, was no different.
Yep. Now, Colin, you remember me saying there was 3 matches of the night. There was Velveteen Dream, Tommaso Ciampa. I said War Games was a match of the year candidate. I also said match of the year for Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream, and I specifically said Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano was match of the year, completely hands down. Travis, was there a match of the year candidate on that card from last night?
I'd say there were 2 of them. I'd say the matches you just said. I think the Dream and Ciampa match was more of a great match with more psychology, as where Ciampa and Black was just a fucking clinic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you didn't think War Games was kind of up there?
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Last year's was so good, though. I think that was the problem, and that was a problem when WCW did War Games every year. At least in the beginning, before they shit the bed with them. They always found it hard to top themselves year after year, and that's why I have the War Games DVD, and if you go through it, every year you go higher and higher, they get worse and worse, and that's no bullshit. And I'm not saying there was a bad match last night, just last year set a huge bar with modern War Games, and I mean, I don't know if Pete Dunne is honestly, working an injury right now. I don't know if
he was.
I'd like to think
he was actually he was working with a broken bone in his foot.
There you go. So that makes sense. And the selfishness in me wanted more Pete Dunne. That was obviously missing for me. But they booked it right with the brilliance of locking him in the cage with Bobby Fish. Those goddamn chairs. I need to order one off WWE shop ASAP.
Oh yeah, if WWE loves money like I know they do, they would immediately start putting those into circulation.
Yeah. But it was good. I guess general summary, I tweeted out today, just quick thoughts on it. Women's match was good, just felt rushed and overbooked, but it was fine. Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle, everybody was pitching a bitch about. I thought it was exactly what the fuck it needed to be. For one, it's Cassius Ohno. It's not some red hot fucking up and comer. I feel like Cassius Ohno is exactly where he needs to be and is doing what he needs to be doing. As far as the indie darlings, he's to equate him to Rey Mysterio on the main roster. He should be there to put over other indie darlings that are newer and fresher and younger. That's what Mysterio should be doing. We'll get to that later, but no, I thought the Riddle thing was fine. I'm not the biggest Matt Riddle fan. He's got a long ways to go to totally sell me, but he's okay. Everything, like I said, the matches you said, Logan, they were both great. They were magic. They were must-see, and the War Games match was fine. It was fine. I don't have really any big complaints other than I just enjoyed last year's more,
Yeah, Colin, you remember exactly what I said about Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno from last night?
No, I'm going to be honest. No, not off the top of my head.
Remember how I said the storytelling of why that match was one
move? Yeah, you're right. You were saying how Ono was saying how he can go in there and just knock him out with one move and get the win, and then that's exactly what Riddle did to Ono, yeah.
Yeah, so nobody can bitch and complain about how long that match was and what happened.
Right. And I'm with Travis. I think Ono is doing exactly what he needs to be doing. I think Ono is the and I had said this last night talking about this match. You know, Triple H had said something along the lines of he can see guys going to NXT and just staying there. And I think Ono is a prime example of someone who never needs to touch Raw or SmackDown. You know, it'd be nice, but I mean, he would just, you know, he would probably be doing the same thing he's doing now, just kind of showing up here and there and losing. But in NXT, it works because he's a guy who has a name for himself, and he's a guy who, you know, win or lose, you know, you're not questioning why it's happening. And I think, you know, Ono being there to kind of put over the newer talent, you know, get wins, obviously. I mean, if you constantly make him lose, then it's going to be like, okay, we know why he's here. So, I mean, obviously give him some wins here and there, but like him, you know, putting over the new guys like Riddle, who are young and, you know, have a future in this company, I think, yeah, I'm with Travis. He's doing exactly what he needs to be doing.
But they got to be careful. They can't keep having Riddle in matches like this because fans will resent that. They always do.
Right. You definitely have to give him, you know, some sort of win against, you know, obviously he can win as many matches as he wants against, you know, guys like, you know, Raul Mendoza or something like that. You know, no one's going to care. He needs to get, you know, a win against, you know, somebody, you know, with the name like a Matt Riddle or like a Keith Lee or, you know, something like that. You know, maybe even have him beat Adam Cole at some point. You know, give him that like big win where it, you know, it reminds people like, okay, Cassius Ohno can, you know, he can beat anyone he wants to if he tries hard enough.
Yeah. I tell you what, we're a long ways off from it. They might have to do. I don't think they'd babyface this, but Matt Riddle versus Aleister Black intrigues me, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I
don't know if it's gonna happen, but the match everyone seems to be talking about in the future, and that everyone wants to see, and that Matt Riddle himself has said he wants to have happen. And honestly, I could see it kind of being a thing that happens. I want to see Matt Riddle be the one who retires Brock Lesnar from the WWE for good. That's what I want to see happen.
Bullshit.
I'd like to see it happen. It'd kind of be like a passing of the torch thing, right? That's what
Yeah.
you get.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, Matt Riddle himself has, you know, he's been advocating that for, you know, before he even got to NXT and before even, you know, was even on WWE's radar that he wants to fight Lesnar, wants to be the one to, you know, put him away for good. So, I mean, and like I said, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'd like to think it might. I feel like it's one of those matches where, like, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I think it'll be one of those, like, matches where, like, no one really saw coming, but it's great regardless.
I think at the end of the day, the thing about Matt Riddle, for his gimmick at least, just to tie the bow on the Matt Riddle thing, he reminds me, shout out to your boy, Zack Ryder, okay? He's borderline, his gimmick is borderline. It can either go one way or the other. It can either be really annoying and douchey or fucking cool and culty and, you know, people like it. One bad booking move will shit the bed, just like the Eve Torres shit with Zack Ryder. He was red hot. They put him in a fucking wheelchair. Kane killed him, and then he was a douchebag ever since, right? You gotta be careful. That's all I'm saying.
I love that Zack Ryder is my boy now. He's just forced to be in my boy stable at this point. But I mean, yeah, no, it's a very good point.
It's a very good point. Matt Riddle is a different character. He's a different, unique individual, and I can't wait to see. That's kind of intriguing now, Travis, that you mentioned Matt Riddle versus Aleister Black.
Is Matt Riddle the Rob Van Dam of 2018? That's all I'm saying.
100%. Speaking of NXT though, and tying it back into Survivor Series, they announced during the pre-show. We also got the vintage for it during the show. Lars Sullivan is on his way to the main roster soon.
Yep, coming soon, Lars Sullivan.
They did not specify. Yeah, they did not specify which brand. They just said coming soon. So there's still that mystery. Like, okay, where's he gonna end up? Is he gonna pop out of nowhere? So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, I'm excited for it. I think Lars Sullivan had a really good run in NXT. He didn't win any championships, but I mean, I don't think he needed to cement that he's a badass. I'm like, I like Lars Sullivan. I do. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see where he goes, what he does. I'm hoping that he's big and he's strong. So I'm hoping Vince McMahon takes a liking to him and doesn't completely ruin him. So I mean, I'm excited to see where Lars Sullivan goes on the main roster.
And it was smart booking, and I think, Travis, I know you were going to agree with me that saying coming soon and not specifying where he's going to go and what brand is a smart way of just like of a shocker of when's he going to come, who's he going to take out, how's he going to debut, and where.
As long as they don't treat him like Emma and it takes a year.
God. And then he comes out, he's like some fabulous Emma, then he walks out and says, now I'm going back to Lars, and walks out again, and it's just all terrible.
I'm going back to Lars.
I mean, that's the thing that happened to Emma, where it was like, he was supposed to be Emmalina, then he comes out, now I'm going back to Emma, and then leaves for another God knows how long, and comes back.
What?
Is Lita's not full-time now? She's just like,
Well, no, Lita and Trish are gone for the most part. I think.
Thank God. Thank God. And, shout out to Lita, but if she was full-time, they just have Lars Sullivan come in and, like, push her on her pregnant stomach and then, kill a baby all over again. Because I'm afraid he's going to be booked like Snitsky. Vince doesn't know any better. I'm a big Lars Sullivan fan, too, but I don't want him to go. I'm just at that point with call-ups. I think we all are.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. It's like...
I'm not.
I mean, and that's good for Logan. I'm glad you have more positivity because I mean, like, I'm the most optimistic wrestling fan anyone knows. But I mean, even I know at this point, a call up can completely make or completely break your career in the WWE.
I'm in the same camp as Colin. I'm actually envious too, Logan, that I'm not more positive of a wrestling fan. But when you get into the double digits, when you talk about these main roster call-ups and them shitting the bed, I mean, we're borderline. What are we in the 20s now? With number of people that have just floundered or shit the bed or just they...
Well, I mean, you also have to realize that, I mean, and I looked at this, info, a while ago, but I mean, if you look at the list of, the WWE personnel and, like, who's on the roster, you're looking at 3/4 of them all being from NXT in some aspect. I mean, there are the some that didn't really spend a whole lot of time there, like, Braun Strowman or anything. But, I mean, for the most part, you look at the Raw and SmackDown rosters, a good majority of these people have been, from NXT, from maybe the early, like, 2012, 2013, really early NXT to, the more recent years. So, I mean, not everyone is going to make it to the main roster and find a great deal of success like, a Kevin Owens does. Or someone like that. But I mean, at the same time, it is also a problem when, you dread knowing someone's about to be called up because they're not going to be used properly.
But, okay, my opinion on this is, yes, I am tired of the call-ups in a certain aspect because I don't want to see them, flounder and not do well. I want to see all of the guys from NXT succeed. I think that's all of us are going to agree with that. But for me, some of them, though, I feel like when they get called up to the main roster, yes, it's make or break, which is really specifically for all of them. Sometimes that's a good thing because you need to know, can they make it or will they break it,
Right, and I mean, I'm not saying everyone, needs to go up there and win the world title and everything, because I mean, there are some people who need to be there for the fact that, you just need to fill those spots on the roster. You need mid-carders, you can't make everyone a main eventer. For every, like, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, you're gonna need someone like an Apollo Crews or a Mojo Rawley or someone like that, which just sucks to say, because Apollo Crews is so good, but, I digress.
But
in ring, yes.
Two of the biggest standouts in NXT in like 2017 were Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. To segue it all back, I haven't done that in a while. They were in the opening fucking kickoff match, which didn't even count. It didn't even fucking count.
I was so pissed this whole night, like throughout the entire main card. They're just like, Raw sweeping SmackDown. I'm like, you motherfuckers, the pre-show counts too. They are not sweeping. They had one match that they won, but it still counts. God damn it.
Yeah.
And the match was good. I enjoyed that tag match.
I think everything before the final, like, 4 was just kind of there because it needed to be. So, I mean, that part wasn't really that exciting or anything. And the thing is, I like these matches, but I also have a vendetta against the fact that for some reason, in kayfabe, every time someone enters this match, it's like their stats just drop. Because you have people in these kind of matches, they get missile drop kicked and they're fucking out for the count. They're done. They're gone. And it's the thing I hate the most about these matches. But I mean,
at least that's one thing. At least is timeless though, because if you ever go back to like the 80s or 90s Survivor, like a clothesline pin the guy in a Survivor Series.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean. But I mean, as far as the ending of the match goes, between you had the Usos and the New Day versus Chad Gable, Bobby Roode, and the Revival. I thought that whole time that was fantastic. I'm really glad they gave the Revival that spot too. And I mean, to be fair, you couldn't have really given it to any other team other than maybe the Lucha House Party, because I mean, Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado are two very good wrestlers. So I mean, don't discredit them. But I mean, you couldn't have given that spot to the Ascension or to to the B Team or something like that. So I mean, I was very happy the Revival got that chance to shine, especially them being the sole survivors on their team. I mean, they lost, but I mean, they were the last ones there. So I mean, I was really happy about
that German suplex too from Chad Gable was amazing.
That was fantastic. That was one of the things where it's like, for as long as wrestling has been around, there is always something that's going to be like, I've never seen that before, and I don't think I've ever seen a German suplex from the top rope to the outside of the outside. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for. Also, really quick,
we got a couple of those this weekend. Those I've never seen that. We got the Ricochet thing from the cage, and we got that fucking nasty Shayna Baszler DDT.
Oh man, yeah, that was great. Also, real quick, Ray Jr.'s in the chat. He's saying Kalisto. Kalisto was technically in the match first. However, I think he actually tweaked his knee, and so that's why Gran Metalik replaced him, because it was originally him and Lince. So that's why I'm just saying it was Gran Metalik, because I think he spent more time in the match than Kalisto. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Logan, what do you think of the match altogether?
Well, in my comments I said, the Raw versus SmackDown Live Tag Team Survivor Series match, the Usos, New Day was the last two remaining tag teams on SmackDown, taking on the Revival, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Yes. In my comments I said this match picked up late whenever it was down to those guys, and this match got a lot better towards the end, especially like you said, the German suplexes and the all the groups on the outside getting taken out and all that. I specifically wrote down on my comments that I think the Revival showcased why everyone said they are a team who was underrated and a team who shows an old school style wrestling tag teams. I missed that, and I wish they were booked a hell of a lot better. I really do.
Right. And for the record, I just want to it popped me big. I really was I was watching this on my laptop in my room, and I jumped for a second. I was like, "Holy shit. Scott Dawson doing a suicide dive, and then you had Dash Wilder doing like the corner DDT stuff, and I was like, and I have the shirt hanging in my closet. It says, no flips, just fists, and I was like, you liars! They were busting out all the stops for the sake of trying to win it for their team. And I liked it. I think it was a thing. It was one of those, small, minute, attention to detail type things, where it's like their gimmick has always been, they're the brawlers, they're the Arn and Tully, they're the old school type tag team. They don't do the dives and the flips and everything, but they were pulling it out to try and win, and I really liked that about what they were doing. Also, I want to point out, God damn it, I wish Sanity was booked better. I wish they would have just stayed at NXT at this point. Sanity just. I love Sanity so much. They're probably my favorite tag team on SmackDown, aside from the New Day and Usos and everything. But they're booked so poorly, and I'm very upset about that.
Take a look at where they were a year ago. We were just talking about War Games last year.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Travis, what did you think of this match? Besides that it was good.
Yeah, I agree with the revival thing Colin was saying. I was going to say Scott Dawson, though. It was cool to see him die, but he should probably never dive again. It just looked like someone threw like a chicken wing in the air and it landed awkwardly. I don't know. It just didn't look. I don't know. It didn't look. It was weird. I didn't like it, but it was cool that he tried it. You know what I mean? But other than that, I think that it was right making it was the right two teams. I feel like down to the wire. And it's crazy. You would think that people would dread like the Usos and New Day being anywhere in a match because it together at least, but for some reason it hasn't gotten as old as fast as I thought it would. I'm still not something in me still thinks those teams are so good together as friends or enemies or whatever. I'm not sick of it yet, and I feel like I should be.
Mm-hmm. You're right on that one. Now, what would you guys grade this match from A, B, C, D, or F?
C plus. Just for the German suplex, it gets a plus.
Colin?
Gosh, I would probably say. I think a B minus is being slightly too generous. So I'm gonna say a very low B minus. I very much enjoyed the last 10 minutes or so when it was just those four teams between SmackDown and Raw. So I mean that's kind of what I'm grading. I'm just kind of pushing everything before that out of my mind because it didn't matter. I mean, for Christ's sake, the Colognes were on a pay-per-view match, and that's not a thing I thought I'd say in 2018. So
I didn't even know they were still employed. I'll come clean. I didn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think they're still.
It's funny.
They were injured.
I hate
One
the
of them was
wrestling
injured.
fans. They've been cleared to compete for months. He was injured at the beginning of this year. But I mean, one of the things I hate the thing wrestling fans do, where they're just like, oh, I didn't even know he was still employed. This was one of the few times where it's like, honestly, I'll give it to them. If you didn't know Primo and Epico were still employed, I wouldn't blame you. They just never used. I mean, shit, people say that about, my guy Zack Ryder, but I mean, Christ, he's used a hell of a lot more than these ones ever are.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
there's usually a brawl to break up with two main event guys at least once a year, and then we get some Zack Ryder time on camera.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, Christ, Primo and Epico don't even wrestle on main event. That's how little they're used.
Bad.
At least Zack Ryder is making appearances there. They don't even go there. So yeah, grade wise, like I said, I'll give it a very low B minus just for those the final 4v4.
They don't even get booked on their exclusive YouTube videos. They don't get booked shit. They don't get anything.
Exactly.
No bones for the Colognes. That should be a T-shirt.
Honestly.
I actually graded this a solid B.
Because the B team was there.
B team, go, go, go.
I think that ship sailed, by the way. We're never going to see them.
The B team is done. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. I loved the B team stuff. I liked that they were champions. I thought it was a very nice, okay, we know Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel have been doing this for a while, and we've treated them like shit. We'll give them something for a couple of months. I liked how they kind of took it and ran with it for as long as they could. But yeah, the B team's definitely... the ship has sailed on that one.
If you ever follow Curtis Axel on Twitter over the years, he'll send pictures sometimes of all his close friends and family at someone's house, so in a big actual party, watching Curtis Axel on TV, just watching their friend. What empty sentiments for parties over what are they celebrating? It's cool to see your buddy on TV, but Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Y'all remember when he was Intercontinental Champion and being managed by Paul Heyman? Because I just remembered that happening and was like, oh yeah, that wasn't a dream.
Yep. But I take it you liked the match more than we did, Logan.
Yeah, I gave it a solid B just because of the fact that the last 8 competitors that was involved in the match did fantastic. And I'm a big Chad Gable fan.
Aren't we all?
I can see Bobby Roode and Chad Gable actually doing well as a tag team until Bobby Roode turns on him.
Yeah, people keep saying that, though, where they're just Bobby and Chad are going to turn on... One of them is going to turn on each other, and it's I'm waiting for it to happen. I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think they might... And I don't foresee them. I think they're probably what they're going to do is they're going to build them up to be challengers for the Authors of Pain. They'll lose to the Authors of Pain, and that's kind of when we'll get the split. They'll build them up for a couple months. That way they seem like they're credible opponents for the Authors of Pain, and then they'll just break up after that. That's kind of where I see that going. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying them as a tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Ray Jr. in the chat says, or is Chad Gable going to be the one that turns on Bobby Roode?
I hope not. In this company, they'll do the opposite and fucking...
It would be a shocker.
I hope not. I think Bobby Roode is definitely the one that needs the heel turn.
Yeah,
I think a heel Bobby versus a face Chad Gable would definitely be the way to go.
Heel Bobby and anybody at this point is the way to go.
Right, just turn Bobby Roode heel.
Yep. Alright, I guess we can move on to Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Live Women's Division. What do you guys think of this match? And oh, don't forget, Sasha Banks and Bayley was replaced.
They replaced Ruby Riott and Natalya and everything. And then Mandy Rose was the one picked to be on the SmackDown teams. I had said something I had said something to the effect on the prediction show with Logan and Matt, where I was like, it's either going to be a Nikki Cross making her official, okay, she's here to say. And yeah, exactly. That's what I was like. It has to be Nikki. They got to bring in someone to kind of be that oh shit, we weren't expecting that. No, it was just Mandy Rose in a backstage segment during the pre-show. Don't get me wrong. I'm with Corey Graves. I love looking at Mandy Rose every chance I get.
So you're with Corey Graves and creaming your pants during commentary.
All the time. But yeah, as far as the match goes, I didn't hate it. I thought it was decent at least. I couldn't help but laugh. I was tweeting during the match, and when it was getting down to the numbers and everything. It was between Nia Jax and Sasha Banks versus, I think the final two for SmackDown were Asuka and Sonya Deville, because Bayley and Sonya Deville both eliminated each other with the double count out. You got Asuka, and at that point I was like, there's no way they're going to do the Sole Survivor thing with Asuka again. I didn't see it happening. And I predicted Team SmackDown to win. I had thought they were going to win. I did ass as far as predictions on this show. I was terrible. But I was like, what are the odds that Nia Jax is the one that's the sole survivor? And holy shit, they did it. And I have never been more surprised. I was like, wow. And here I am thinking, like, I was believing this, backstage heat, Nia Jax's push is going to get haltered and everything, and I'm just like, oh my, and those boos when she made her entrance, those were Roman Reigns, those were Roman Reigns after Mania. Those were Roman Reigns after Mania level boos, and they were chanted for every time she moved. She got in the ring, boo! Whoever hit her got cheered. It was insane. And the only thing that could have made that better is if, and I wish they would have done it just because it would have kind of just been the cherry on top of just saying fuck you to everyone, was if Nia Jax did a right hand to Asuka before getting the 3 count. I think that would have been just the best thing they could have done if they were going to have Nia Jax beat Asuka. But I mean, like I said, Nia Jax, the sole survivor, getting the win for Raw. I was shocked. I'll be honest. I did not see that happening, but they went with it, and to each their own. I guess they're gonna capitalize on this whole situation, which I say why not. I mean, I realize. Obviously there's the argument between, sending Nia back to development or, getting her completely out of it's never going to happen with anyone. That's the whole thing.
They would rather release somebody than do that.
Right, exactly. I mean, they kind of did it one time with Curtis Axel. They kind of sent him to NXT, but then that just never went anywhere.
Curtis Axel wasn't like a 3-time women's champion, though.
Right, it's true.
I mean,
enough of Curtis Axel. We've talked about him too much on any show. But as I was saying with that though, I say why not with the capitalization on this? Nia Jax. This is a perfect chance to turn her into an actual hated heel. Because I mean, there's a difference between people not liking her because they don't like her and they just don't want to see her, and now more people not liking her because they took out the Golden Girl. They took out Becky Lynch. So I mean, I'm on board with it.
She took out.
I'm not opposed to it. Right, exactly. She took out the man. And I mean, and obviously there is the argument between Nia Jax just pinning Asuka 1, 2, 3, just Samoan drop. There's obviously I'm leaning. I typically give some leeway when people are like, oh, they're gonna bury this person. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying Asuka is necessarily got buried, but more along the lines of she has now been just sort of sent to the level of if she loses, she loses. If she wins, she wins. It's no longer a surprise if she loses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say, Travis, of course, WWE booking, creative, and everybody backstage, including Vince, of course they were going to use Nia Jax breaking Becky Lynch's face as a fucking storyline in order to basically say Nia Jax has a right hand punch, knockout punch like the Big Show.
Yeah.
I also people were starting to compare Nia Jax and the Big Show with the heel turn and face turns, and then wouldn't you know it, just like the Big Show, she turned on her own team and everything. I mean, she did it for the sake of winning the match and not just betraying for no reason and then walking out and having the other team win. But she pushed over Sasha, got her eliminated just so she could be the sole survivor, which is something I thought it was funny.
She did it for The Rock.
Yeah.
A couple things in the chat before I'll let you say what you got to say, Travis. Virtuoso says a warm spit in the face. Ray Jr. says they didn't do it with Owen Hart when he broke Stone Cold's neck. Or what about when Sami Callihan hit that other guy in the face with a baseball bat? I mean,
you gotta push. You gotta push. What are you talking about with Sami Callihan?
No. Well, no. What Ray Jr. is saying, because his next comment is saying people calling her to get fired and being unsafe and whatnot. She's saying no one else did that in those situations. Because when Nia Jax did this, people were saying, fire her, send her to developmental. But he's saying, when Owen Hart did it to Stone Cold, they made a fucking T-shirt and everything. And I mean, same with Sami Callihan. He then became one of the hottest, indie acts for the next 4 months. So I mean, yeah, there's definitely sort of a double standard.
There's money that you can make off of this now.
Right.
Especially now that she's a massive heel by breaking the man's face. The man. So what did you think of the match, Travis, and how it ended?
Well, first of all, ever since the Nia Jax stuff's happened, I have had zero chances to say anything about it. Nothing I'm going to say here isn't what anyone else has already said about the unsafe worker shit, blah, 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 the nepotism, the list of, it's like 6 women in a year, right? She's hurt.
Yeah.
Year and a half, 2 years, whatever. So that's still a lot of people. The thing is, Vince McMahon is always going to capitalize off real life heat if it's worth capitalizing on in his eyes. The thing about it being Owen Hart and fucking all the other guys we just talked about, the one difference from Nia Jax is there's talent. And look, anyone that's listened to my shows has known me. I've been the biggest critic of Nia Jax for fucking years. That's the first time I saw her in NXT. She's not good. She has degressed, in my eyes, in ring at least. And I know in ring isn't everything. She has a good look. Don't get me wrong. She has that. But if you're not going to capitalize on the look and book her like every other woman when her talent is minute compared to every other woman, it's going to be uninteresting. There's going to be no incentive to watch it. And that's what Nia Jax has been ever since her NXT London match with Bayley. Nia Jax had a buzz until that match with Bayley in NXT, and she fucking lost like a schlub. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that, but ever since then, it's just been this big show heel turn thing. Now, the truth of the matter is, yes, she should go back down to developmental. Anybody, man or woman, who's repeatedly hurting 6 goddamn people in less than 2 years, when a guy, and I'm ripping off Salamasser on his show this week, but he said it, when Bret Hart, people like that went over 20 fucking years, hurt nobody, there's a problem. There's a big time problem, especially how much money is invested in that performance center. Tons of money. Get these people properly fucking trained.
How many people complained and bitched about Seth Rollins, ending Sting's career or injuring Finn Balor?
And see, I'm on board. I see both sides of it too. I get accidents happen. Nia Jax, the thing is, to me, as a person, she's not likable. Last year, she pulled a Steve Austin. She took her fucking ball. She went home. She complained to her cousin, The Rock, that she wasn't being booked right. Remember that little leave of absence? She came back. Yeah. She won the fucking title. I'm sorry. I don't like the woman. I don't think she deserves the spot she has. Now, just the icing on the cake is her hurting people gives me all the more reason to say that. Now, when it's somebody we like, we're a mark for, yes. People will call you out. Be like, well, you don't say it when it's them because you like them. No, I'll tell you flat out. There's certain guys. I think Seth Rollins is dangerous. I love Roderick Strong as a performer, but goddamn, he's stiff as a motherfucker, and he's going to hurt somebody eventually. All those guys in Undisputed Era are going to hurt somebody eventually.
I don't think Seth Rollins is dangerous or anything.
I'm with Logan on that one. I don't think Seth was dangerous, and the thing is, with the whole Sting and Finn Balor thing, I think Seth and I mean, this is a whole different argument at this point. I'm just saying it for this sake of arguments, but that at that point I don't think any of those were Seth Rollins' fault. I think those were just he was in the wrong spot. It could have happened to anyone, because I mean, if Finn Balor didn't break his arm like that, it would have been his neck. And with Sting, that's not a thing that just happens. That was going to happen eventually. Just because Seth Rollins was the one that did it, it doesn't make it his fault. He already had the spine problems.
Was that 2015, right, with Sting?
No, yeah, it was 2015 with Sting, and then I think 2016 with Balor.
In 2015, Seth Rollins had been in the business almost 10 years at that point. You should know, going into a fucking match with a guy that old, maybe take the buckle bomb out of the repertoire that night. I'm just saying. You should have known better. Especially, I don't know, it's right there in your face. Just take that fucking move out. Work with the veteran, a veteran style. Yes, get your high spots in, but remember, at the end of the day, the tools you're working with to build the house. If you got rusty-ass tools, don't do it all in one day. Do a little bit till you get some better. I don't know. It just should have known better.
A couple things in the chat. Ray Jr. says, the woo man. And then he also says, she can't really wrestle and she can't even talk. Honestly, Nia Jax is just a typical woman. Wow, he said typical woman.
The only person getting over, and they're going to run with the heat, and it's smart. I'll say it. It's smart to capitalize on the heat. The only person at the end of the day, though, when this storyline and angle with Becky Lynch is coming past, it's going to profit. It's going to be Becky Lynch, because once Nia is done with this storyline, it's back to irrelevancy, because you're not fucking entertaining. That's all I got to say on it.
Well, she's The Rock's cousin. She's going to be there some way.
And there it is. And the match, I thought Evolution was a great show. I really did. I enjoyed that. This match was just, I don't know, I wish I was watching Evolution again. Just didn't do a lot for me. It was all right.
I feel it. I that's understandable. I mean, as far as a grade goes, I would probably give it a C plus. It's one of those things where, like, you know, right now it's just hours after the show, but I don't remember a whole lot from it other than the ending. I want to say one thing. Mandy Rose did pretty good in that role. I mean, she went out there and she had a pretty solid match. So, I mean, good for Mandy Rose and everything like that. I thought Naomi just got demolished. That was upsetting. But, I mean, yeah, final grade for this match, I just give it a C+. Nothing special, nothing to, seek out.
I will say one thing. If I was Sonya Deville, I'd be fucking pissed. You talk about awful timing. If this was 5 years ago, she'd be a main eventer. But the fact that you have actual relevant named former MMA fighters there, she's kind of null and void, and it shows on the reaction she gets.
And I mean, it's not saying she isn't an MMA fighter, but she's not up to the par of, like, what Shayna Baszler and what Ronda Rousey did or any of the other four horsewomen. So yeah, no, that gimmick as far as on her is dead in the water.
Yeah, I also want to point out that we do have somebody in the call with us. OJ.
Couldn't keep me down forever.
There he is. I didn't even know anybody hopped on. What's going on?
Come on, guys.
I had noticed it. I was just like, well, I'm sure Logan will introduce him when the time's right. So.
No, I was just speaking of Sting. I was just waiting in the wings.
Well, OJ, let's get your opinion on a couple things that we already talked about. We talked about the 10-on-10 SmackDown Raw tag team kickoff show match. What did you think of that and your final grade?
All right. So I didn't see that match, but I did read that Kalisto got hurt. Was it storyline or was it shoot?
I'm pretty sure it's a shoot because, I mean, Grand Metalik replaced him, and it seemed like commentary was like, all right, what the hell's going on? So he spent the majority of the match on the floor until the Lucha House Party got eliminated. So I think he's actually, like, I don't think he's too bad because they probably would have taken him away if it was something serious. But I think he probably just tweaked his knee.
Right. I didn't know because I saw that obviously they did the whole. What was it? Like the three of them were out there still. So.
Yeah. So you didn't get.
It's Kalisto. It's not a terrible loss to the roster.
I mean, I don't know. He's one of the more recognizable luchadors in that group. So,
what a heel! What a heel Colin is tonight.
Hey, Kalisto blocked me on Twitter. I have, at this point, he's never going to see me.
Yeah, I did. What was it? I did see actually because I turned it on briefly at the start just to kind of see what was going on, and I saw what they have. They have a pinata now. That's their gimmick.
They had the pinata on 205 Live for a while. I think after tonight's show, I think the Lucha House Party are done on Raw. I think they only brought them up to shit on Heath Slater and Rhino. I had forgotten about this, and I had made mention. I had said something on the prediction show with Logan and Matt. I said literally every tag team is in this match. So much to the point that they had to bring the Lucha House Party from 205 Live to Raw, not remembering Heath Slater and Rhino are also on Raw, and they're still technically a tag team, and they just shat all over them. Just didn't give them anything. Didn't even give them a chance.
I think Rhino's like a mayor now. Like he won some office.
He lost.
Busy, I think.
He was running. He was running for like Christ. That was back when he was on SmackDown when he just won the belt with Heath Slater over there. That was a while ago. Now he's just now he's just getting that WWE money.
I feel like we're just one step below the Mexicals now with Lucha House Party. That's where we're at. Just
But I saw that the Usos were sole survivors, and yeah, so I can't really give my opinion. Was it a good match?
It was decent. I gave it a solid B, and these guys
gave it B minus.
And Charles gave it a C.
Then what was next? It was the women's match, right?
Yes, the women's Survivor Series match.
It was alright, I guess. Wasn't anything that was like too mind-boggling other than, oh yeah, we're going to capitalize now with Nia Jax. I mean, do you think that was in the plan the whole time?
I don't know, but like I mentioned, it's like they're booking her as the next, like the big show of the women's division with the knockout punch now, I guess.
I thought you meant
I think he was.
I thought you meant just like going from like top of the division to jobber to mid card to top of the division to jobber.
No.
I think what ended up happening. I think Vince probably there was that heat on Nia Jax at first, and then Vince just saw the money and rolling with this whole thing, so they're just like, fuck it, let's do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A couple things in the chat before I let you do your final grade, OJ, and I give mine as well. Ray Jr. says Sting was old and Finn Balor looks like a twig. With Sting, honestly, it was probably karma from when he injured Rick Rude and forced him to retire in the 90s. Kalisto sucks. And Drew is in the chat.
Whoa. Oh, shout out to Drew. What's up, Drew? Whoa. On the Rick Rude thing, there's a lot of huzzbuzz over the years that was a bunch of bullshit. He was just trying to cash in like a lot of guys did on the Lloyds of London insurance claim back then, because it was rumored he was going to come back in ECW in 97 when he had that angle with Shane Douglas, but things never. I didn't know if he couldn't get cleared. I don't know, but a lot of people think that was bullshit. Just putting that out there.
Drew says Michigan State Congress.
Yeah, that's the one that that Rhino was running for.
Yeah, Reed Jr. also says the Mexicals were actually over to a degree.
That's true.
When they first came in, and then fucking, I think Psychosis fucked that up, right?
Yeah.
It's something.
Hoovy or one of them, yeah. Dickheads backstage. Yeah. Wait,
Hoovy
got a DUI with Randy Orton's dad, and that's true. I swear to God.
Did he get Hep C with Orton's dad too, or?
No, that was Abdullah.
No,
good old Juventud.
Yeah.
Oh God, good old Juventud.
I
forgot about that.
I didn't even mean that when I brought him up. I forgot about that. So thanks for reminding me.
Oh, God bless.
Travis, Colin, what did you guys grade the women's Survivor Series match?
I'll give it a good C+.
I'm going C.
OJ, what did you think of the grade?
I'll give it a C. The booking was kind of... It sucks, man, because it's like, I know, Logan, you said something about Asuka possibly being the sole survivor again, and they were teasing it. So that was kind of disappointing, because it's like, man, how far she's fallen within a year. So yeah, I'll give it a C.
On the prediction show, Colin, didn't I predict Asuka to be the last one on the team?
I probably. I mean, it would be the obvious one. I mean, if SmackDown was going to lose, it was still going to be with Asuka being the last one there, taking the pin, which is what happened.
You could have made it R-Truth. That would have entertained the shit out of me.
Honestly, if R-Truth was put in the match, I would have been so happy. I want R-Truth to join the women's division so bad, and like I love R-Truth. I want him to be put in the Hall of Fame immediately.
Now that you guys actually
looks good for his age. He
looks great. He's like 43 too.
Now that you guys reminded me about that, that's right. I'm actually gonna have to give this match an F because of the whole Carmella dancing thing.
I love it all.
It's terrible, man.
Honestly,
like what? Like
I think you just need to take a second, have yourself a dance break, and then come back to me.
Look, man. Think about this if this was in shoot terms. She basically goes and coordinates with the arena PA to do that in the middle of a match. I mean, come on.
Honestly, if that's the part of wrestling that confuses you, then I've got nothing.
At least she counts it down so the sound guy can be on cue.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, if I could accept a bloodbath with the fucking Brood being awesome, I don't have a problem with this. There's worse things, I feel like.
But that was a whole
that's somebody I've come around on too.
Exactly. Because I mean, We could do a whole podcast on things where, if this were real life, what the fuck were they thinking? Case in point, the cameraman that has to shoot Triple H fucking a dead body. Like, I mean...
Well, that's happening right now on Pornhub, so I mean, that's not that strange.
I mean, let's not lie. Like, professional wrestling cameramen are like the best independent journalists on the planet.
Oh,
like, without them,
1000%.
there's no television show.
Really?
1000%.
So yeah,
And they're so sneaky, standing right by someone's face when they're trying to say something that they don't want anyone else to hear. They're so good.
They're kind of pervy too. Like, you remember when like Lita and Dean Malenko had a hotel room and he was about to like boner? Like, there was a camera guy. What's he doing?
Yeah, exactly.
you guys remember in TNA when they were trying to do like the hidden camera thing? When like they'd be like popping out of like, you know.
I do remember
Yeah.
that. They would actually make it seem like they're actually trying to like not be caught, just blatantly showing what's happening. What a time. Logan, what was the next match?
Well, I was gonna give my grade.
Yeah.
I actually gave this match an F, and it wasn't for the dance break. It was, for one, Naomi should not have been eliminated that fast. She's one of the most underrated, athletic females you have on the not just SmackDown roster, but in WWE on the main roster. And she should not have lost that fast. And I'll get to another person who lost fast later on. But yeah, I gave this.
It was me during No Nut November.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I gave this match an F. I did not like it. I'm sorry, but it just frustrated me to hell.
And we'll get to him later, but real quick, I'm pretty sure he's working with an injury, is what I've read. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
I think he's definitely in his swan song of his career.
What was the next match?
But the next match, ladies and gentlemen, and no, Colin, I'm not calling you a lady, I promise. Promise. Alright, the next match was Seth Rollins, IC title from Raw versus US title, Shinsuke Nakamura. What did you just say?
Not a fan. I just watched the house show, man. I just watched two guys when I go out there and fucking phone it in. One of them was in pajamas, and one of them was in one of those stupid half shirts. For
the record, I just want to point out, I love the half shirt thing that Rollins does with this time of year, but Nakamura looked like he was doing a poor like cosplay of Elvis. It was so upsetting to look at. Like people were looking
like he was about to go fucking scuba diving.
Exactly. People were like giving shit to Rollins. My favorite was Adam Pacitti of Cultaholic. He was like, "Oh God, Rollins brought back this monstrosity of a shirt." And then right below his tweet was a picture of Nakamura saying, "Never mind, this is worse." And it's so true. It was just terrible.
And it's crazy because he was just wearing a normal SmackDown shirt. It was the rest of the getup that looked like fucking 16-year-old girl sleepover pajamas or something. I don't fucking know.
It was the shade of blue, and if he just took off the sleeves, like if he just didn't have the sleeves, it would have looked far better.
Looked like he bought his fucking Halloween costume at Dollar General or some shit, trying to be fucking Blue Ranger. I don't know. It's just awful. Awful.
Exactly. As far as the match goes, didn't hate it. Obviously, I think they could, put on a better match. But I mean, as far as, this goes, I liked it. Nothing. I didn't hate it by any means. It was my favorite match. But yeah, I liked it. Thought it was good. I thought it delivered enough to the point. I definitely think, people were expecting more, but I think for the most part, it was good enough to get a pass from most people. Yeah, I liked it.
I think a lot of people aren't talking enough. I think Shinsuke's winding down too, man. I think age is catching up to him. Think about it. He's been here for 2 years. I mean, 2014, man, he was in Wrestle Kingdom with like Ibushi when he came out with the crown. That was 4 years ago now, and I feel like
his contract
obviously is WWE style too. His
contract is up at the end of the year. I think his contract expires the end of December. So I mean, he's definitely like on. I mean, I would not be surprised if he was just on his way out.
And look, no one could blame him if this is true. But is it just me? Every time I see him on television, he looked like he'd rather be fucking anywhere. He'd rather be at the DMV waiting for 3 hours than be working for WWE right now. He looks miserable. He looks like he doesn't care. He looks like he phones it in. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing. but I didn't enjoy the match. God, this is one of those matches you just could have done so much more with. I didn't a couple times a year, one-offs like special attraction are fine. There was just no thought put in this match. Slow pace house show type match with a no sell of a finish at the end, and here we are.
Right.
I thought Ambrose would at least interfere like everyone else did. That surprised me.
I just wanted to say to your point, man. I mean, I was actually talking with my girl while we were watching the show, and she said something about she thought that Shinsuke was young, and I'm like, hell no! Like, he wrestled Brock Lesnar in like 2006.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christmas, this guy's old as shit. No wonder why they haven't put the belt on him. I don't think they don't want to make the investment. And like you said, I think that tonight, I mean, Jesus, not even just tonight. Most of the matches in the last year have been really just haven't kicked into third gear. And it's disappointing, especially with this match. Like you said, if it's going to be a one-off attraction, make it that. Make it a balls to the wall match, and this match just never kicked off.
See, if these matches were done, go ahead, Travis. Okay.
No, go.
All right. So, my favorite one-off attraction match was. I'd read an article. I can't tell you where I read it from. My apologies. But there was an article saying WWE works best when they're under pressure. And I love that idea because, case in point, TLC last year, when Bray Wyatt, caught whatever disease was going around backstage, they pulled an audible and they did Finn Balor and AJ Styles on like a week's notice and stuff like that. Those are the kind of matches where it's like, it's not one you weren't going to see because, they weren't on the same brand at that point. You could use the same argument between like Charlotte and Ronda and everything like that later. But I mean, with this, it's one of those things where like, if it's going to be a match that we're not going to, there's not going to be a rematch, there's not going to be a big story build up to. Why not just go all out, give people an amazing match? Because I mean, that was the thing with Balor and Styles. That one match, they had a couple of days, notice to do it, and they went out there and performed, a match of the year type match. Same thing with these. Why not just, let them go out there and, do the best they can? It's not a match we're going to get, we're not going to see Nakamura on Smackdown on Tuesday wanting a rematch. It's just not going to happen. So why not just let them go out there and kick each other's ass?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. And even if you do see it in the future, it's not going to be until, when they have the draft in April?
Right,
so
right.
There's no, I agree.
Alright, what grades did you guys give this match?
I like I said, I didn't hate the match either. I see the point though, because it was kind of like when Styles and Nakamura had the Mania match and that kind of whole feud in general. There definitely could have been way more. They just never, like OJ said, kicked into third gear. So I mean, I would give this one a B. I would say a B minus, one of those two.
Travis?
I'm going to be rough stuff, man. Come at me. I'm going to give it a D+. I feel like if I'm watching Nakamura in a match with Sami Zayn, which had good in-ring, good atmosphere, good psychology, just to watch that and watch arguably a guy who's better than Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and just fall flat on its ass, in my opinion, I can't give it a passing grade. I'll give it a barely passing grade, I should say, but...
OJ?
C. It was just like, I like what Travis said, it was just a house show match, basically. Just a little less gaga. There wasn't a lot of, fucking around at the beginning, but once again, just never got that attention. There's nothing eye-popping, you know what I mean? There's nothing that's like, oh man, next Survivor Series is going to be like, remember that incredible match between Shinsuke and Seth now?
And this was the match I was most hyped for once the Becky match was off.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure
it's impossible for me to be hyped for a Brock match, even though it's been a dream match forever for me. I just knew it was going to be what it was. But yeah, this was my hype. Maybe it's my disappointment too, mixed with why I gave it a D+.
I gave it an A because it was the best Shinsuke Nakamura. Don't laugh.
I know where Logan's going with this, and it's kind of true.
This was the best Shinsuke Nakamura match in recent months.
That's true.
I would go as far as to say it's probably his best match since the Sami Zayn match at TakeOver.
Yeah.
Those matches with Styles weren't bad. It was just the premise and what they were booked around was the problem.
Right.
And he didn't have bad match against like Samoa Joe in NXT either.
Right.
But I gave it an A because I just think it was Seth Rollins is definitely one of those guys that he reminds me of Christian. Like he can work with anybody.
He pisses me the fuck off. He has made the superplex irrelevant, and I hate him for it. I like him, but I hate him for that. That makes sense.
I think this is definitely a match where it really is just up to the viewer. It's a match where, like, because I mean, Logan's giving it an A, I gave it a B. You know, we got the whole alphabet represented as far as the four of us concerned. It's one of those matches where it's up to personal preference. If you liked it, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. Yeah. It could go either way.
That's the beauty of pro wrestling. It should be everyone coming to terms with their grades and just not being dicks to each other. But you know why, and that's why we do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Next on the format, what do we got, Logan?
Just the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. That's what we have coming up next. Oh boy.
Raw Tag Team Champions Authors of Pain versus SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Sheamus. Go ahead, guys. I got a lot to say about this, so I'm gonna let you guys go.
I'll go first. I just, oh boy, this is going to go down as probably the weirdest match of the year, I think. I'm not even going to talk about the match. I'm going to talk about what we all know what we're going to talk about. I had not noticed this until, because this is kind of when it all blew up. No one had said anything until then. Our Travis, we did in Logan, I believe it was all of us who were doing cruise control. We had the brief Lord and Savior of 205 Live, Enzo Amore, was in the second row, wearing a wig behind the guy who has the long hair, who's always there. His name is Simon. I've met him. Good guy. And he was sitting there just seemingly enjoying himself. Like, I mean, I don't know if enjoying himself. The pictures people were taking looked like he was asleep, but, I mean, that's just because of the angle and trying to, duck down and probably not be seen. I truly do believe he was probably there just to watch the show. But I mean, to be fair, he also, I don't know if anyone saw the photo, he had a custom-made, like, Enzo Amore WWE Championship belt made. So, I mean, I do have a suspicion that in the Cruiserweight match, we might have seen the appearance of Enzo at some point during that, if it wasn't going to happen here. But people were tweeting, and people were like, it was probably going to make the rounds in the arena eventually, and at some point, everyone was like, holy shit, Enzo Amore's there. And I think at that point, once he had been caught, he was like, fuck it, let's just go all out. And he bust out, he took the wig off, he's going apeshit, standing on the chairs, he's doing his entrance shtick, and people are playing along, and like, oh my god, it was fucking insane. That whole thing. I wasn't even paying attention to the match at that point. I was on Twitter just looking for videos of everything happening and everything like that. And then once that all cools down, we go back to the match and we're watching Big Show physically murder Drake Maverick by just holding him in the air like he's Michael Myers. And then Drake Maverick pisses himself, and then the Authors of Pain win. I am very much confused. This was the most confusing thing I've seen all year, and it's because, and I'm sure the whole pissing thing was planned. At least I'd hope it was, for Drake Maverick's sake. But just that mixed with the whole Enzo situation, this was one of the weirdest moments of the weirdest moment of the night, and one of the weirdest moments of the year in wrestling altogether. But yeah, that shit was wild.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of the match, though, Colin? Like, grade-wise and all that?
Like, the match itself, I liked it. I thought it was, for what I did see and what I was paying attention for, I thought these two teams went out there and, put on what we all expected. It was a good match. Wasn't bad. Wasn't, the best match of the year. I think the Authors of Pain winning was the right way to go. Like we were saying, Logan, I think, Authors of Pain needed that win more than the Bar did. The Bar already established as a team where it's like, they can lose, they can win, it doesn't matter. If the Authors of Pain lost, it'd be a bit weird. So I liked it grade-wise. just for the spectacle of the fact that this was probably the most I've been entertained in so long. Like sports, this was the most I've been sports entertained in so long watching a main roster match. So I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B. Why not?
All right, Travis, what did you think about the Enzo Amore and all that?
I don't know what the hell to think yet. I don't know if it's a work. I don't think it's a work.
It's not a work. The police were involved. He's been kicked out. He's been banned from every WWE event in the future.
He was kicked off a plane earlier this week, I read, too.
Yeah, he was kicked off a plane because he wouldn't stop vaping.
Sorry. I was with him.
Gotta be talking about it. Oh yeah, he's also was kind of in the news earlier today because he released an album on Apple Music under a new name, by the way. But apparently one of them was just a direct shot at Liv Morgan, and so now I guess there might be a restraining order from Liv Morgan against him. Like it's a mess.
Well, there's why he did it tonight. Cheap promotion. And people are talking about him for 15 minutes.
Probably.
Dumb way to do it. Fucking, especially someone that comes out and says, I'm done with wrestling, bro. Yeah, where are you sitting? Who needs who right now, Enzo? Who needs who?
Right.
I feel bad for if the shit really isn't true. Look, everyone can have their annoying tendencies. I get it, but he was a good character. They just didn't know how to book him. He's a good fucking character. He's probably a douchebag in real life, but I don't have to know him in real life. When he was in NXT, when they booked him right, he entertained me. I feel bad for the guy if it's not true. You know what I mean? Like that really sucks. He got the wrong deal. But he's a douchebag because of shit like this, so that doesn't. I don't care. It's Enzo. I really don't give a shit. Oh, the match. The tag match. That's right. There's a match to talk about. The Enzo shit was more interesting than the match. Very, very boring. It's the bar, and you throw the Big Show on top of the bar, I'm just out to lunch. I'm not, no. The finish was botched, obviously. He couldn't get the squirt thing in his pocket to squirt, so there was barely an invisible piss, but there was enough piss for, Michael Cole to lose his shit over and over and fucking over about pee. And
I thought it was like a legitimate like he was actually like maybe Big Show like smacked a nerve or something, and that was an actual like human response, because I mean it looked just enough to be like it was an accident. And then it was funny because the Big Show on camera, and you could hear him, he just started laughing, and like the rest of them looked like, oh my god, he actually just did that. So I mean I thought it was funny, but someone on Twitter had noticed him, I guess, putting some sort of squirt bottle in his pants, and he thought, I didn't notice the squirt bottle at first. I thought Drake Maverick was getting like a fear boner. And I was like, could you imagine that?
But yeah, obviously, you throw the Big Show in anything. For me, in 2018, I'm automatically tuned out, man. And the bar does nothing for me anymore. That was fun while it lasted, but there's way better teams that they need to be in that position right now. And I'm happy AOP won. I was afraid, losing to the bar, Christ. And you just won the belt, but yeah. Right team won at least. The match was another like C-, man. Just nothing special here for me.
Wow.
Yeah, the AOP, there's some fucking lummoxes, huh, in the ring?
Oh, they're
not very crisp. They're just tumbling around in there.
Hey, if they wanted to bottle them after the Road Warriors, right fucking guys for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, they're obviously not going to be fucking... They're not going to be the Hardy Boys in the fucking ring, although the case could be made that they're even worse. But yeah, no, the whole piss thing. After Big Show held him up for about, 5 seconds, I was like, they're really going to fucking have him pee himself, aren't they? Like, right away, I could just tell that was something that WWE would do.
Yeah.
As far as the Enzo thing, I think that's actually beneficial to him. I mean, you're just talking about, another interesting match. I mean, overall, like I said,
he's in the news. People exactly. Are probably gonna, they're gonna look his name up. They'll see that he's, released an album or something, and they'll probably, they'll probably listen to it to see what it's about. Like I said, I admittedly, I was an Enzo Amore fan. I love the character. I think I liked him as Cruiserweight champion. Nowadays, it's not exactly a thing I'll publicly go around saying, fuck yeah, let's go Enzo. But, I mean, to each their own. So, I mean, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt where it was like he was just there to just... Because, I mean, he lives in L.A. I mean, and he has a show there tomorrow, I think. I mean, he very well could have just, wanted to go watch the show. So I know, like I said, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, it's like he was probably going to do all this shit on his own. Because I think he genuinely started doing all this because he had got caught. Because at that point, it was like, well, fuck it, they all know that I'm here and they're all chanting, let's just do this shit now. But I think he probably was, thinking of doing all that shit during the Cruiserweight match because, he was the former champion and everything, so who knows? But
yeah, no, in terms, I mean, his album just dropped today, you said?
It dropped like earlier this morning.
Okay, so this is 100% promotion. There's no other way.
I'll tell you why, it's in a way, you know what, I said it was a mistake, but I take that back, because how many people you think knew he had an album that dropped today until he did this? Zero.
Exactly.
Besides, in fairness, I did know about it before the show started.
Yeah, but that's you. You have a Zack
Ryder exactly.
Figures tattoo.
Right.
So.
I do have a Zack Ryder tattoo on me, so I'm gonna know about these things.
Of course, you probably listened to it when you fucking got the tattoo. You pre-ordered the album, knowing you.
So let me just say that, especially on a WWE pay-per-view like this, I'm gonna forget about Survivor Series in a week. Like I said, most of the matches I've been giving a C. Well, no, my point is that I'm going to forget about the matches and everything. Yeah. I will not forget about this Enzo Amore incident.
Yeah. Well, I want to say.
So in that way, he was effective,
Right.
Yeah. OJ, what grade did you give this?
A C, straight C.
Okay.
This was like I said, there was nothing that was like super terrible about this whole pay-per-view, but
this tag team match, I have to say that these two teams are like the definition of hard hitting and they equal powerhouse. Like that's what I see with both teams. It didn't matter who won because both teams desperately needed the win, but I think AOP desperately needed it more. I wouldn't say desperately, I shouldn't have said that. But I think at the end of the day, with them winning, they remain dangerous and both, I think you can tell that the Authors of Pain have a future as the unstoppable tag team. They will not become irrelevant like the Ascension, hopefully. But do you guys agree with me that this win showcases what the backstage officials and Vince McMahon see in this tag team? And it's everything.
I mean, I don't know if I would... I don't know if... I think they definitely do see, something in the Authors of Pain. I don't know if this win is, a testament to that. I feel like, I just don't foresee like a universe where if the Bar beat the Authors of Pain, it would make sense.
Well, it goes back to what OJ said, 100%. Especially with this match, a week from now, no one's going to remember this fucking match anyway. I think there's way bigger things to come from the AOP if they're going to do it with them. And I'm with you, Logan. I don't think they're going to ascension them. Those masks, by the way, are like the coolest thing I've seen in a decade in wrestling. I want one so bad.
Yeah.
I think this match is what WWE officials are trying to tell us about the tag team division. That it's literally a piss break match.
No, it's not a piss break.
Literally a piss break, yes.
No,
yes.
No.
It has the big show out there, Logan. Time to whip the weenie out and drain it. It's a piss break.
And they're doing comedy hour.
No, it was
hour in the middle of the.
I mean, the tag team division was just shit on altogether tonight in general because I mean, you got the pre-show match not even counting toward the whole Raw versus SmackDown thing. Then you have Enzo Amore obviously outshining this match in whole because like OJ's saying, no one's going to remember this match. They're just going to remember the Enzo Amore incident, and then you quite literally have Drake Maverick pissing. So I mean,
so much for those fucking shitty, lame T-shirts you had to wear, guys. Sorry about that.
You want to know why I didn't mention anything about Big Show, and Drake Maverick and all that. Because I'm not even looking at that. I was looking at what was in the ring, and yeah, the match
I definitely do like that they didn't really get involved until the end. It wasn't like a constant back and forth between them. Like they actually stayed on their corner and everything.
Well, I'm just saying. I think this tag team match was not the best, but it wasn't the worst, and I gave this match a B-. It wasn't a piss break match to me.
I feel like when I'm more invested in watching Enzo in the background, it's piss break match.
Mm. That was the other thing too, man. Like I didn't know what was going on. I hadn't been online reading the reports or anything. But once
I saw the original tweet from someone. Go on.
No, I noticed that there was movement in the crowd during the match, and I'm like, I wonder what's going on. And then I just open everything up, and it's like Enzo Amore. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always on Twitter during the shows anyways. I'm always live tweeting and shit. So, I mean, I saw one tweet where it was like, I think Enzo Amore is in the second row, and at that point I checked out of the match. I'm like, I have to see this. I need to find him. And then eventually someone had said, yeah, he's behind the long-haired dude, and I was like, holy shit, he is.
You remember earlier off air we were talking about playing video games, Colin, how we both have to sit up close, or I do at least because I'm an old man or whatever you said. That was kind of like I was like pick on Twitter because I was so far away I couldn't make it out that it was him.
Yeah, because you had asked before and everything, and then right afterwards someone had sent it to me.
That fucking disguise was hilarious, though. By the way,
yeah,
he looks like Kenny from. I just retweeted something that James Storm, of all people, tweeted. Yes, that James Storm. He had tweeted a photo of it. It's like a side-by-side of Enzo Amore sitting in the audience, and then just a picture of Kenny from South Park, and it looks the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, seriously, as far as disguises go, it's like, why, he should have had, the fake nose and glasses. Why not, right?
Right. Did you guys see the video of Enzo, standing on his chair and all that stuff, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Was that Bret Hart? Was that security guy Bret Hart? Was it me? I'm like, what the fuck's Bret doing out there? It looks just like him.
The blonde guy?
Yeah, the guy with the ponytail that ripped him down. It looked like Bret
Hart. No. I have to stop you both right there because I'm gonna need you to put some respect on her name. That was the same security guard. That was the same female security guard that stopped Gronk at WrestleMania 31, thinking Gronk was actually just a random fan hopping over the barricade. That was the same one.
Well, it all makes sense because Bret Hart looks like a 40-year-old lesbian anyway, so...
Wait, was it really?
Yeah, no, that was the same security guard. That was the same one who stopped Gronk.
It's WWE security, then. It's not the building security. Oh, okay.
Yeah, WWE's.
Yeah. Alright, guys, you want to move on to the next match?
She suplex city'd his ass. Yeah, let's move on.
It was great. She fucking walloped him to the floor.
She really did. Alright, the Cruiserweight Championship match, Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali.
I thought it was a great match. I loved it. I think the Cruiserweights and 205 Live in general constantly are proving how great they really are. Buddy Murphy especially. I love Buddy Murphy. I've always been a fan of his. I'm very happy to see him in this role right now. But yeah, as far as the match goes, I mean, yeah, it was really good. Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy are both tremendous talents, and they're going to go out there every time and show you just how great they are. These are two guys where if they wrestled 8 more times in the next 10 weeks, I'd be okay with it. They put on great matches every single time. So I mean, I was happy with it. I think Buddy Murphy winning was definitely the right choice. So I was on board with it. I give this match an A.
Travis.
I always enjoy when these guys work together. Let's say it right now, end of an era or whatever, shut down 205 Live. It's got a permanent stink on it. It's never going to get a buzz again just because of what it's been through. It's been through hell and back. Just intertwine these fucking guys on a Smackdown or Raw, but do it right this time. Don't give us bullshit filler matches. Give us a ranking system, something. Make the matches mean something, and it'll fucking work on the main roster. Because, guys, these two guys had one of my matches of the year in WWE earlier this year. That fucking brutal no-holds-barred match was amazing. These guys deserve way better to get reactions from the crowd like this, and it's that 205 Live stink. All those guys. Jack Gallagher's phenomenal. Fucking Tony Nese is good. All those guys deserve way better, and it's an easy fix, in my opinion. The match, I give it maybe my match of the night. I give it a solid A. It was really good. These guys, I think it's impossible for them to have a bad match together.
Yeah. OJ, what are you?
I hate to be the Debbie Downer. The wrestling was good. I just had no investment in the match. Just give it a B minus.
OJ, you suck.
Yeah, I know, I'm terrible.
No, well, I don't.
It's not that I don't. The thing is like, it's not that I don't know these guys or haven't seen them before, but it's just like.
What is it? Just because it's 205 live? I mean.
I think so.
Well,
I think so. Just because I have really no clue. I'm so lost when it comes to that.
Yeah, well.
Granted, I don't watch the main product either, but at least like I see shit. At least it's promoted on Twitter by the WWE. Well, and I feel like I just never I see very limited shit with the 205 Live guys.
Well, I don't watch 205 Live anymore ever since it moved to Wednesday nights.
Okay, well you suck, Logan.
Buddy Murphy retained the title, and this showed everyone in the WWE audience that the Cruiserweight division is underrated, in my opinion. If you're not invested in at least watching these guys put on a performance, then I'm not trying to be an asshole, OJ, but you're missing out.
Okay, I know. I'm being fair, man. I mean, like I said,
I know.
I had more investment in Rollins Nakamura, and I was gravely disappointed by that. Where it's like, I'll give these guys a B minus.
You can't blame anybody at this point, though, Logan. Like, I think just the logo, when anyone sees that 205 Live logo, there's like this thing in everyone's brain now where we automatically are like, pass. Even though I've been watching it, surprisingly, for some reason, I find myself up late and I'll just throw it on. It's not fucking bad lately, like, honestly, but it's just, like, got that TNA late WCW thing.
It does.
It's never gonna
Yeah. So, I mean, even like I said, I just want to say that my girl went to a Smackdown a few months ago, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when 205 Live came on, it was like they were holding people hostage in the building.
Yeah.
Like, people were trying to leave, and like WWE was like doing things, was like having, I guess, security guards kind of be like, can you please like wait or whatever until like the entrances are done.
I think the fans. I think
That's hilarious.
I swear to Christ, dude. I mean, and that's the thing too, is they go, what was it? I guess they had Paige come out, and it's like, do you guys want to see AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura? Everybody was like, yeah, and they're like, well, wait till after 205 Live. It's like, oh,
if that's true about them making security, like telling people to wait, they should take every fucking documentary on the network down about WCW giving away tickets for free. Then hypocrisy at its fucking finest. That's kind of the same thing. Like, stay here, you're not leaving. You gotta watch.
I mean, to be
wasn't
fair
even,
though,
like, the matches. It was just like, hey, while we're on the hard cam or whatever, I don't know, something crazy.
I'm just saying, to be fair,
well, either way, if you're gonna
pay
beg any fan to stay for any wrestling show they paid for, there's a problem.
No, that's the thing. If you pay for your ticket and you fucking leave before, like, because I mean, I went to a Smackdown earlier this year, and they had 205 Live and everything, and yeah, I mean, I was gonna stay regardless because I like 205 Live, but I mean, if you pay for your ticket and you leave before, you still got 3 or 4 matches to go because you got 205 Live, and then and then the dark match, then you're wasting your own money. That's dumb. And I mean, nowadays, because it's taped and aired on Wednesdays, they do it before SmackDown now, which I think
is what they should do.
Which is way. Yep, exactly.
Or even just show up before SmackDown. I don't see an issue with that either.
How fucking hard was that to do, by the way? How long did that take to them to figure out we're putting these guys in front of a dead fucking crowd? Over a year.
Well, I was going to say...
years, right? I mean, it was 2016. It's been 2 years now.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, I was going to say, I don't care what people say or how much they criticize this division, but this match was match of the night for me, and I gave it an A+. It was close to how much I like that Tommaso Ciampa Velveteen Dream from last night, and Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black from last night as well. It's in that category.
If Ali and Murphy would have got the atmosphere and the crowd that those two matches had last night, it would have been really, really, really good.
And everybody, it seemed like, I guess, was
you know what? Just fucking integrate 205 Live with NXT.
Hell, you got NXT UK there too now, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes
Anyway.
sense to me. Where'd that take us to next, Logan?
It took us to Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Live. The men's.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Roll up those sleeves, lads. Let's do it.
Well, I'm gonna let Colin go first.
Didn't hate it. I think because Travis and I were talking with Logan before the show went on the air. We were talking about this, and we like last year's more. And yeah, I like last year's match more. I think this one was definitely not up to that level. But I mean, I liked it. I didn't hate. The thing is, with how weird Survivor Series always is, as a whole, I liked the show. I didn't find it to be that much of a chore to watch. Same with this match. I liked it. I thought, they went in the direction they should have. It made sense. They had, Raw team bickering. They had SmackDown, kind of on the same page. Raw still won, which is, surprising. I did think the immediate elimination of Samoa Joe, which now holds the record for the fastest loss in Survivor Series history, at a whopping 35 seconds into the match. I think that was a bit, they could have subbed out literally anyone from Team SmackDown, and it would have been better. I feel like actually, honestly, it doesn't matter. You could have done it with anybody, and you still could have had the argument, they're all old. That's the thing. On SmackDown, a lot of the people want to argue, the older talent are burying the younger talent. On SmackDown, the youngest dude there is, 37, 38 maybe. SmackDown's whole team was filled of, veterans and everything. So, I mean, it's kind of like take your pick with who they want to do this with. Obviously, I feel like Samoa Joe has more of a future possibly than a Jeff Hardy does, or The Miz or something. I think doing it with The Miz probably would have been better, just because it would have kind of made more sense, because he's been all cocky and he's all hyped up and everything, and then boom, immediately eliminated. That would have been the only other one that would have made more sense than just doing it with any of the other four. As a match, as a whole though, like I said, I liked it. Braun Strowman looked like, an ass kicker. He eliminated all of the SmackDown team aside from Samoa Joe, who got eliminated by Drew McIntyre. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're building up Strowman again just for another shot at Lesnar. I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of sick at seeing Lesnar get buried by Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, Strowman being buried by Lesnar. I'm tired of that. If they're going to do this match again, for the love of Christ, have Strowman beat Lesnar. But they're not going to do that, so what's the point? Strowman and McIntyre being in the Soul Survivor list along with Lashley, that also kind of... I think this match was perfect for storytelling. That's kind of what it is. It boils down to, it furthers a lot of different stories for each show. So, as a final grade, I'll give it a B.
Okay. I agree with you on that one. Well, no. Actually, I didn't give it a B, but, yeah. Travis, go ahead.
Well, first of all, Colin, I fucking hate you because I got to bust out my nerd helmet. Actually, the fastest elimination in Survivor Series history. Because I was thinking in my head when you said it, I'm like, that can't be right. So I looked it up. Goes to the Warlord in 1990, eliminated by Tito Santana in 28 seconds. But Samoa Joe's right there, which is...
Okay, fair enough.
He's a good company with the Warlord, but...
You got me. You're just... I mean, you're the one dating yourself there.
Yeah.
I would have never realized that, but I mean, Travis over here busting out fucking Warlord trivia facts.
Warlord. That's disgusting.
Warlord?
That's everyone at the end of November.
Hey, any chance to shout out the Warlord, I'll take it. The match was a clusterfuck. The whole booking of it was just uninteresting to me. I don't mean to be a negative Nancy tonight, guys. I really don't. It's what I'm watching with my fucking eyes. You know what I mean? The Samoa Joe thing soured me, but in the back of my head, I'm pretty sure he's working hurt. I think I read that rumor last week or saw it on some podcast. I don't know if that's confirmed, but like you said, Colin, he's no spring chicken. He's not some call-up rookie from developmental. He's been doing this for a while, so that would make sense.
They're definitely like if they did this to someone like if Andrade Cien Almas was on this team and they did this to him, at that point, that's when you really are like, okay, what the fuck was that choice? Why would you do that?
At this point with him, but that's another show. I just whatever. They're borderline making me not care about Braun. I think most fans are on that fence right now with Braun. You can't take a guy with borderline Steve Austin type, babyface heat. It was getting there. He was fucking strongest babyface we've had in a while, and it was just there's so much momentum and just these boneheaded decisions. You see the rumors about Braun's knees mysteriously went away. He looked fine to me. His knees don't look hurt. I don't think it's though faith in him because he's injury prone. Maybe they're waiting, but if you wait too fucking long to do this, you're gonna Dolph Ziggler him, and then no one's gonna give a shit, and that's. Just capitalize. Just do it. But I know everyone knows why Brock has the fucking belt. UFC's right around the corner. All that shit. It's promotion. It's money. I'm not dumb. I don't even count the Universal title as a title. It's just a photo op belt to me at this point. But yeah, man, it was what it was. I've seen worse Survivor Series elimination matches over the year. Like I just said, the Warlord when I started this little rant. That match fucking sucked. By the way, it had dug in and it just got worse and worse. Yeah. I give it a C, fucking C. The banter we had earlier, Colin, and most people don't know it was Mysterio pinning Balor clean, and I just think that's kind of asinine considering what Balor's kind of already been booked through. The fans are still hot for Balor, no matter how he's been booked.
Right.
I get it. I think maybe shiny and new for now, but how long is that going to fucking last? Are we going to Royal Rumble 2014 it all over again with him in a fucking year, which I fully expect when fans don't get their fucking title way?
Right. I think
it was what it was.
I don't have a problem with that one necessarily, just because, like I said, I don't necessarily have a big of issue with the whole legends versus younger talent putting one over type thing. However, in that situation with Finn Balor and Rey Mysterio, I think it was more along the lines of they did that because Balor versus Mysterio is definitely a dream match type, scenario. So they wanted to, kind of give it to us a little bit, kind of, tease us with it. However, you could have probably, if Finn Balor was the one who had to be eliminated, you probably could have given it to someone else. I think, not necessarily the elimination. I think doing Ziggler first, being eliminated by Mysterio, maybe would have been better than have, I don't know, Finn Balor get eliminated by Shane McMahon. I don't know which is worse at that point.
But once again, it goes back exactly what OJ said. In a week, no one's going to fucking care or remember about this. I can't tell you, as much as I like the Raw versus SmackDown match from last year, I can't tell you any eliminations who eliminated who a year later. I have no fucking clue. I have to Wikipedia that too here in a second.
That match fucking sucked.
The finish I do with Triple H, but besides that, I don't.
Yeah, no, let's eliminate Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura first. Let's fucking bury these guys that, Anyways, my own grapes with that fucking match.
That was pretty bad last year. It was a fun match until you just saw the direction it was going. You know what I mean by the end of it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. It was what it was.
This match was an F for me, man. This was probably my least favorite Survivor Series match all time.
Jesus.
Dude, this.
Do you want me to link you the Warlord match? Because I can't remember that.
Yeah, you might have to with the network. This match, yeah. Dude, I don't remember anything that happened in this match other than, the Shane spot.
You mean spots?
It was the spots, exactly. Yeah, and of course he's the last one, again. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what? It was Bobby, Braun, and McIntyre were the last survivors, right?
It was Braun, Drew, and Bobby Lashley.
It was guys who did nothing in this match. Lashley did nothing in this match.
Yeah, no, Lashley was in the NFL, Logan, Mr. Irrelevant at the end of the draft. Lashley was Mr. Irrelevant here. He really didn't do anything. I think Drew and Braun being the final. I think you could have easily swapped out Lashley being with the sole survivor with Balor, and it would have made more sense. Or honestly, just eliminate Lashley. You know, have someone eliminate Lashley. Have Braun and Drew be the final 2 members.
And once
usually,
again, though,
over the years and decades, when there's Survivor Series elimination matches, there's all every guy in it has an angle with the guy on the other team, right? So you got like 4 angles going on. Eventually, in the match, they fucking work. Balor and Lashley, I feel like, didn't work at all. And they just had a match on Raw on a little storyline, right?
But I mean, honestly, think about this. This fucking match was literally just to further the storyline of Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman. 100%. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit?
You lost me at Baron Corbin, basically.
Exactly.
Is what that is.
You have my full attention at Baron Corbin.
And what? And so what? Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre have been held. Is this the storyline that Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre have been also feuding with Braun?
If the end game of this is to make Drew, especially what he did at Angle and how he's been booked like the past 2 weeks, to make him the guy at the end of the day, now that Roman's out of the picture, now there's more spots available, then whatever. As long as Drew because Drew's the guy, he's fucking ready. Just do it. Everyone's saying it. You can feel it in the crowd when he's out there. You can see it on. At least for me, I feel like the guy's got it.
Maybe if they were the last 2, but once again, I mean, you had Bobby Lashley in there, and then they had the whole stupid thing about Baron Corbin and Braun couldn't touch each other until after Survivor Series, and then he does the little sneak attack after the match. Fucking Samoa Joe thing was souring too. I agree with you there, Travis. Yeah, this was terrible. This was not Survivor Series to me. The quality of Survivor Series matches has gone downhill, in my opinion. And what? The last... when was the last really memorable Survivor Series match?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say the one where... I mean, last year's was pretty memorable, honestly, and then I mean, not necessarily everything, but I mean, like, I remember, it happening. I would say, like, the last big one, though, for, like, 2014 when Sting debuted.
Ziggler, yeah. Oh, I agree with that. But, like, where are those moments? Where Ziggler's the final survivor and Sting ends up making sure the Authority can't. And, when Orton was the sole survivor for, 2 years straight or 3 years straight. This was what? To further what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw? Fucking did.
No, you just get Shane O'Mac doing a Wild West standoff with 3 juiced up monsters, and then just
I'll be honest. I love the way Shane McMahon was used in this match. Fucking hits the elbow drop. He's out cold. Fucking does a coast to coast to whoever he did it to first, and then he's like, "Guys, I think I'm done." And then Miz is just like, "Do it again." And he's like, "All right,
Colin." It's a fucking joke at this point. At least back in the day, when
he's the best in the world, Travis.
Yeah, no, he's got a trophy to prove it. Did you know that, Travis?
Exactly.
Which I'm surprised hasn't been used as a fucking prop within a week and broken like every other trophy they create.
Dude, it's like going out. It's like going to the fucking the trophy stores where you get like trophies for little kids or whatever, where they win in their baseball league. It's like going in there. It's like walking in there and saying, "Yeah, can you put Shane McMahon on there?" Sure. And what is your name for when you pick it up? Shane McMahon.
Exactly.
Shane McMahon sprinkled in with matches like once or twice or 3 times a year with like Blackman and Vince back in the day was fine, but when you put him in every fucking goddamn elimination match every year, the best in the world thing obviously, which is right,
Yeah, but not only that.
In fairness, in kayfabe, he is the best in the world, and 2 years in a row, he has made it to like the final 2 members of the Smackdown team.
The final, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm just saying, I think he was the last person on Team Smackdown last year too.
Yeah.
So I mean, in kayfabe, Shane McMahon is the smartest choice you could make, other than Randy Orton.
I mean, shit, he's got bigger arms than half the roster. He's jacked up.
Exactly. So I mean, fuck it. In kayfabe, why not? Also, I did look it up. Yeah, Shane McMahon was the final member for Team Smackdown last year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, in kayfabe, Shane McMahon's the smartest choice you could do. Of course, then it gets down to him being the final person against Braun, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley, which collectively would just destroy. Like in a real shoot fight, Strowman, McIntyre, and Lashley would literally kill Shane McMahon. So I mean, in kayfabe though, best in the world.
Kayfabe, brother.
I gave this match a D-.
Ah, good.
I really did. Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor, I want to see more of. I really do. I want to see Rey Mysterio put Finn Balor over. I'm not mad that Rey Mysterio pinned Finn Balor. But then again, it's just, I don't know. I just want to see both of these guys go at it again. It's sad that Rey Mysterio is on SmackDown and not on Raw, and actually could feud with Finn Balor.
I think that's a good thing. He's not on Raw.
Yeah, big time. Glad that he's not on Raw. There's too much talent up there on Raw for him to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, he's one of the SmackDown 6, too. Every time he's ever been on Raw over the years, it just felt weird. Like, he's always just felt right.
Oh, yeah, Rey Mysterio's always been a SmackDown guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was next, Logan?
What was next? Oh, Charlotte and Ronda, right?
Yep, Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch's replacement, Charlotte.
Everyone's all excited now because we're almost done with reviewing this fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, I liked it. To be fair, this was actually one of the few matches where I was like, I'm not a fan of this. Until, the ending. It picked up. I really was not a fan of this match at first, and then it kind of got better. I kind of, started seeing more of what they were, like, trying to do and everything. I'm like, okay, I get this now, kind of. I think, I expected there to be a double disqualification finish. I thought we were going to see Becky Lynch, take a chair to both of them. That was my prediction for this match on our prediction show, Logan. I thought what they did was interesting. It definitely puts it up into the air with the whole who's going to get the match with Rousey at WrestleMania, or if it's going to. I think it's all but confirmed at this point that it's whoever faces Rousey is the main event for WrestleMania 35, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. It's just how they get to that point is, the mystery. But, after this match, I don't really know who's going to be between Flair and Lynch. I was thinking, they do this match now. Lynch wins the Rumble, fights for the title against Rousey at Mania. Now it's like, either or. And at this point, it's, they could go with either or, and it would make sense. Because, obviously, you want to see Flair and Lynch do their whole thing, but now it's like, well, we can't just have all of that and then no follow-up. That's exactly what we're going to get for, the next 5 months, but, you got to follow it up eventually, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Let's just have Ronda run the whole gauntlet and just destroy everybody in the division. Why not?
Honestly, at that point, fuck it, why not?
Why not? Because apparently she's never going to lose. Apparently there's no,
She's going to lose at Mania. I'm very.
I don't think. Come on now.
I think she definitely loses whatever whoever she fights at Mania.
I don't know about that, man. If it's going to be anybody, it's probably be Lynch, right? So I don't think that was in the cards for tonight from the start. With
not until all the whole until WWE realized how over Becky Lynch is. I do think that had this whole thing with Lynch and Nia Jax and everything not happened, yes, Lynch without a doubt would have lost tonight. However, now that, they kind of see, okay, Becky Lynch is the most popular person in wrestling right now, maybe we should do something different. So at WrestleMania, I do think if Lynch and Ronda have a match, I think Lynch would be I think regardless of who it is, Rousey's losing at Mania just because at some point they have to beat her. They got to do something else with her. Because especially because she's full-time, too. Because, she's on Raw. She, fights at the pay-per-views. She's not on that Lesnar schedule where it's like you can, only have to do 2 or 3 things a year with her and it'd be different. Because, she's full-time. So you got to realize, okay, she cannot hold on to the title forever. So, like I said, whoever I think whoever she fights in Mania, I think that's who she loses to. And in my perfect world, it would be Becky Lynch. But, we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know. I think that if she's losing, it's going to be a dance-off at Carmella or something.
Oh, boy.
I think she loses to R-Truth at Mania.
You mean Whoopi Goldberg?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Review.
Travis, what did you think of the match?
I actually enjoyed the match probably way more than most people. I didn't think it was bad. I thought Charlotte's trash talking was great. It's it's probably the best. Well, it's the longest Ronda match, obviously. I'm going to make you even more disgusted, OJ. I think Ronda's going to lose before Mania, and her Mania match is going to be her redemption match. Ooh. And it's not going to get over if they keep booking her like a babyface like this. There's some things they could do. If they really want to make her a babyface, call up Shayna Baszler. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out, Logan, before you chastise me. Call up Shayna Baszler before Mania, around Rumble time, after TLC maybe, with the other 2 4 horsewomen, okay? You tease that. Everyone's been calling it forever. What they're going to do. What WWE loves to do is to prove all the smart marks wrong. They're going to do the opposite. They should make Baszler and the other 2 turn on Ronda, beat the shit out of her. Because there's one more woman besides Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey, apparently, who can get heat for doing nothing. It's fucking Shayna Baszler. And I think that would be the route to go. It would swerve everybody. And call me crazy, I'd love to see that match at Mania, Baszler and Ronda, if booked right.
I did see a tweet that I thought was funny. I was saying, during the Baszler and Kairi Sane match, it's like, okay, Baszler just got smacked in the first 2 minutes. Let's, attack Sane and, do all this. And then, they're just backstage watching Ronda get the piss beat out of her, and they're like, it's fine.
Even I think tonight, fans have been on the fence, I feel like, with Ronda all year. I think tonight, finally, everyone went, with all the Becky shit going on with Nia, with how they booked Charlotte like the fucking goddamn loose cannon Brian Pillman after the match who saw that coming, but I liked it. I feel like any other route they go at this point now, we have jumped the shark with Ronda Rousey. She's always going to get kind of a Roman kind of reaction now. There's always going to be that very audible crowd that boos the shit out of her now more than ever after tonight. And I feel like even with Nia Jax, if you put her out there with Nia Jax, she has more heat. That'll keep. No. You know what's going to happen? They're going to Brock and Roman those 2. No one's going to give a shit about either of them. There's going to be no reaction. So you take that risk if that's your Mania goal, is Nia and Ronda. You're hell-bent on Ronda's babyface. But the match, I liked it, man. I liked the viciousness afterwards. Neither one had to eat a pin. It was a smart way. It wasn't just a bullshit fucking count-out. Like, it was kind of lame at first. Like, well, what the fuck? It was just picking up, and you're like, oh, shit, she's still hitting her, and she's getting more weapons, and I like this, and we never fucking see this, and this is more of what people used to like wrestling. Aggressiveness. People had fucking balls. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, wrestlers had big, gigantic, hairy, depending on the gender, balls. Some of the times the gender, but that's just been such a missing thing in this lackluster, fucking mundane environment WWE's become in the past 15 fucking years. Nobody has balls anymore unless you're Brock or Braun or somebody over 6'8".
Mm.
Yeah.
It was very welcome to see that.
Even, I mean, that's the other thing too, man. Like, especially like Ronda at the end, where it's like she looks back at the crowd with fucking puppy dog eyes. It's like it's not gonna work. Like, people, especially when they're chanting "Thank you, Charlotte," and they're fucking booing her when or they're booing Ronda when she stands up, when she's being helped up to her feet. Like, I don't know. Like, seriously,
with
you
the most,
could
maybe
you
besides
could have
video game and comic book fans, wrestling fans may be the most impatient fans as far as storyline canon, any of that shit. And they should know better to have a plan B with Ronda for a heel, because they had to know this was going to happen, you know?
You could literally have the female Rock and Austin if you just switch it around with Ronda and Becky, and you have Ronda be the corporate champion, basically come out and be like, yes, I am the golden child of this company. You know, they want me to be the women's champion. And you have Becky be like, you know, the fucking badass outsider. But no, they're gonna run the sympathy angle, which, man, after tonight, I'll be interested to see like what kind of reaction she gets in other towns. Ronda, that is.
Right.
Yeah.
My second favorite
I do agree.
I give it a B.
Yeah, I give it a B. That fucking beatdown was way more brutal than. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the last real beatdown that was like that much. I mean, obviously, like the marks. If you look back, it was pretty noticeable.
Right.
Shots.
Oh yeah, no, she got all welted and bruised
too,
up.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd give I'm with you guys. I would say a B. I think this was pretty solid.
Well,
but
you guys want to know what I think?
You hated it.
For the match, I gave it a D minus.
But D's nuts. Is that what you were gonna
So I thought
say?
you were gonna
D
say
minus. And for the beatdown, I gave it an A.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So like in ring, you weren't really feeling it.
Nope, I was not.
And I don't blame him. I was in the same boat for a while. I was like, not that great, honestly. I don't know. I think I'd have to rewatch him, but I'm pretty confident in saying I think entertainment wise, just solely based on the match, not what happened after. I think Nia Jax gave Ronda Rousey a more entertaining match.
Yeah, probably. The other thing too is like Ronda is very corny with the offense. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm watching a fucking 80s action movie when she's saying just dumb shit like, "This is my house."
You want me to break it? Let's do it.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah. No.
Like, fuck, I'm expecting her to come out of Mr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze outfit and
Chill out.
you're like, you need to cool. Yeah, exactly.
You need to cool your jets.
So yeah. So what's funny is like I agree with Logan in that sense. I think that in ring, it's probably like it's like a C, but in terms of like overall entertainment, A. So you get a nice B from me.
Okay, moving on to the main event.
Hopefully, I just want to say, hopefully this leads to something good, but I got a bad feeling that the WWE has unleashed a monster that they can't turn back from, because when you suffer a beatdown that vicious and the crowd turns on you and says thank you to your opponent, to the supposed heel, like it's
not good.
There's not a lot of coming back.
Unless you're Becky Lynch, then it's actually really good heat.
I'll
Really
say
good
this.
cheers.
One last thing from me, since it's all we're going to talk about, the Becky Lynch situation tonight. Okay, who would have thought, with as much talent as they have right now, a year ago, that Becky Lynch would be the hottest actor in the company? If that doesn't speak to how they book their fucking talent, and I like Becky Lynch, but my God, look at the roster. Look at the roster. Man, crazy.
Yeah, it is
Wrestling is so weird.
Yeah, but to be honest, though, a year ago, I think a lot of us were saying. I know I wasn't. I don't think I was on. No, I've only been around for less than a year. But a lot of people were saying that, hey, Becky Lynch is really good, and they're not using her over on SmackDown.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a situation where it's like it was brewing, and now.
But I mean, I think a year ago, most of us were probably thinking, a year from now, she's still probably going to be being misused. So, it's a nice shot.
Now she'll be in a title picture with like Alexa, or she'll be like, but not the biggest fucking star in the company right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
No, I mean, like I said, I'm actually happy that I was wrong, because originally I was saying, man, I wish it was the other way around with Becky as a baby face and Charlotte as a heel, but she is, like, I mean, realistically, with the reaction she's getting and the character. I mean, telling Edge, fucking, don't break your neck on the way, make sure you don't break. Yeah, she's female Austin for the moment, at least. Hopefully, the momentum continues, and the WWE figures it out that she doesn't necessarily have to be this either, heel or face. She can be this gray area.
Right.
Now, on the flip side of that, if you're one of these people that are just so soured and so sick of hearing about women's empowerment and first ever pay-per-views and all the propaganda they spew, probably not the best timing for the hottest star in the company to be a woman if you're sick of that. Because now, that Ronda's going to... I agree, Colin. Ronda will main event WrestleMania. My God, if Becky Lynch can get over, imagine Imagine what we can do with Rousey.
Right.
I'm thinking that it might be something ridiculous with Braun and Brock.
We'll see.
I'm still on the. Yeah, it's still a while away, but I still got a feeling that they're going to have Braun win the Rumble, and then. Well, actually, I mean, there is the rumors of The Rock, but we'll see.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I typically will save the Mania Judgment and everything for once it's Mania season. Once the Rumble starts and everything like that.
I don't know. I think Ronda versus Becky could main event, but after Charlotte versus Asuka was like kind of thrown on the second match on Mania, it was like, for as much as they want to say that they're empowering women or whatever the hell, they're still going to treat it as kind of like a side act.
Right. If anything, we get like 5 WrestleManias a year now, so what's the big deal about Mania anymore?
Yeah, exactly. It's just either, it's Mania, it's Saudi Mania or American Mania.
Yeah.
So moving on to the main event, I will give full disclosure that I did not watch this match. Did I miss out?
I mean, it was fun. It was kind of like in the same sense of what Styles and Lesnar did last year. Like, it started off as just like a complete beatdown on Bryan, but he kind of made that comeback. It was interesting because this very much was a heel versus heel match. Obviously, Bryan was going to be the one more people were going to cheer for, but it still technically was a heel versus heel match.
And I will say that's one of the reasons I just did not have any interest in this match. And it sucks because this is a match that I thought for a very long time should be like a WrestleMania main event.
Right,
Babyface Bryan overcoming the odds against Brock Lesnar.
I thought this is what we're getting at like 31 when Bryan ended up being like a ladder match for the IC belt.
100%. But yeah, no, and that's why I just really didn't have a lot of interest in this match and the whole having AJ lose it on a Smackdown. I mean, come on, that's the whole thing with like my original thought was that maybe they would do something on the show where AJ would attack Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan would request a match with AJ, and then they would switch it around and that would be the main event. So, kind of taking out Lesnar of the equation, taking Lesnar out of the equation.
Right.
So,
as far as the match goes, like I said, I liked it. I was worried at first because once they got there was a 5 minutes of just bullshit running around, teasing up. They're finally gonna lock out. Oh, okay, no. But once they finally got into it, it was like, all right, this is when the massacre of Daniel Bryan commences. And that's what it was at first. It was just suplexes and everything like that. Christ, the first German suplex fucking dropped Bryan straight on his neck. I legitimately at first thought he was like, oh shit, he's injured. Because they made it look like
Brock down to developmental, Colin.
It was pure domination in this match.
Right, exactly. It turned around once Bryan, I saw a tweet that said Bryan took Nakamura's gimmick and just made it better and did it correctly, and I kind of like it. Just kicks him straight in the dick. Poor Lesnar, he's been kicked in the dick far too much, I feel like. But it's the way you gotta beat him. That's what Undertaker did. Undertaker beat Lesnar at that SummerSlam after kicking him in the dick. So, why not? So, but once Bryan did that, and they had me. There was that first big near fall when he hit the knee, and I was like, oh shit! I was clutching my chest. I was like, they got me. I thought they were gonna do it, and until that final F5, I was thinking, if Bryan wins, I'm not gonna be like, I didn't see it coming. I didn't, but it's one of those they were building it up to that. If Bryan won, it's like, okay, he did it. He fought back. He made that comeback. He did it.
But he's the heel, so what's the point? That's what I'm with OJ, man. I was the same way. I was like, God.
It's just dumb. It just makes no sense. So we're just having exhibition matches at Survivor Series. Well, okay, it's a house show then. What's the point? What's the point if I know this isn't going to affect anything? Did AJ come out at all or no?
No, he was never on the. He was never on the show. Well,
then fucking good. I didn't miss anything. So there's nothing further to any storylines. Nothing. They just did. Okay, let's just waste Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. fucking.
Logan, they didn't have
God.
that 365 AJ Styles right after. I didn't get to catch yet.
I was watching it while we were waiting for the show to start. It looked pretty solid so far.
Nice.
I got upset though. They showed the match where Jesus Christ himself lost the WWE Championship in the UK to AJ Styles. I was like, disappointed. I wanted Jinder to reign forever.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Jinder had a bad week on television.
Jinder was so bad that they took AJ Styles fresh out the mid card and put the belt on him.
You watch your whore mouth. Jinder Mahal was.
But
OJ, you ever see the shirt?
AJ was. I've seen.
Oh God, here we go.
Seen,
You gotta plug the shirt. Can't do one show with Colin every 6 months, and he has to find a way to bring up the goddamn all over shirt.
Yeah, I do.
Kick him off, Luke.
In the end, Daniel Bryan could not beat the Beast. Brock won with that last F5, and Brock Lesnar walks up the ramp. And there's one thing that I don't know if anybody caught on throughout the match, but there was always a smile or a smirk on Daniel Bryan's face. And he had one on when they showed the camera at Daniel Bryan after Lesnar was walking up the ramp.
Oh, he's a good heel.
I'm
not saying he's not a good heel. Whenever he's been a heel, he's been good at it.
The mark in Daniel Bryan as a kayfabe performer was like, fuck yeah, I just did that shit.
They really couldn't have waited for Daniel Bryan to become a heel after facing Lesnar. Like,
I think
it's not the worst idea in the world, but I mean, for Christ's sakes, man, like, he just came back this year.
Yeah, well,
like, you guys wait till you fucking wear down his welcome, and then you start fucking turning him.
Yeah.
It's like all the writers were just like, they blanked out and they didn't know what to do, and they needed the money match on the fly, and they just looked at like one of their sons playing Universe mode, like, oh, do that, turn him heel in a week.
Yeah, turn him heel and have him feud with fucking Curtis Axel. Like, no, like.
Can we get a Curtis Axel counter on the next episode I'm on?
Yeah.
We're looking at 4 or 5 right now.
I thought it was like
Wait,
17.
was Curtis Axel I mentioned earlier?
Oh yeah, we were talking about him before you got in here.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
What's even better is Colin even made the remark, like, I'm going to steer the ship away from all these Curtis Axel references, and lo and behold, it's like an aura that brings everybody in. You got to bring up Curtis Axel.
Right.
I mean, I wanted to bring up Tess, but you guys would have been mad at me.
Tess does nothing.
I mean, because Curtis Axel is basically the ultimate, like, writing, like, faux pas. Like, hey, let's take Mr. Perfect's son and make, like, no reference to him being Mr. Perfect's son. How about that?
I smell a Hibiki Honors episode in the works.
Fuck yes.
I do want to say, though, for Brock Lesnar, this is the type of match that I wanted to see him in. Not your typical 3 minutes. I want to see his opponents give him a fight, of his life, And Brock Lesnar's best matches in the last 2 years was against AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I still think that AJ Styles match with Lesnar is his best match he's had since his return in like 2011.
Not saying a lot though. I mean, it's
not. It's taking your pick out of the 9 he's had. So I mean,
yeah.
You guys are being too harsh on Brock there.
As for Daniel Bryan, though,
he's had some good matches, man. Yeah, I know that he's had these 3-minute shit shows, but
just in the last couple, like young Brock, tremendous. Brock used to actually work. Imagine that.
But even like the Mania match he had with Goldberg recently, I thought that was excellent. I thought that's what it should have been.
Oh, the Goldberg match with Lesnar was like those were great. I love those matches.
Well, the first one was shit, but
oh no, are you talking about the one? Are you talking about the one like the first one like at Mania years ago?
No, I'm talking about the one that he had at when Goldberg was making his big return Survivor Series.
Oh, you mean the match where Goldberg beat Lesnar? Fuck no, that match was amazing. I love that.
In like 18 seconds? Come on now.
Well, okay, well, I mean, I'll take it down to the, like, because we were talking about this on the NXT TakeOver show last night, how we weren't really grading Matt Riddle versus Ono because it was more of a moment than a match. I would say that was more of a moment than anything. As a moment, I mean, as a match, yeah, he had 3 moves and it's done. You can't really grade anything. But I mean, as a moment, I loved when Goldberg beat Lesnar. I was so happy.
I agree to an extent with the moment thing, but it's the wrong fucking guy with Goldberg. That was the problem. It should have been, Jesus Christ, Samoa Joe, young, not nostalgia. Christ.
Yeah. Anyways, not to get off topic, talk about Bill Goldberg.
Well, I was going to say...
Speaking of which, everybody, watch Santa's Sleigh when you get a chance. Christmas classic.
Oh, Santa's Sleigh! I'm so glad I'm not the only person who knows that movie exists. I love that movie.
I'm gonna be too busy watching fucking Universal Soldier or whatever he was in.
Don't you mean Marine 6?
No, Universal Soldier. He was in a Universal Soldier movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was like a cyborg.
He was.
I mean, fuck it. He was also in a TV commercial earlier this year. Goldberg's been making the rounds.
No, I actually just watched a movie the other night that was it's called American Satan, and he was playing a tour manager. He had like 5 lines in the whole movie.
I wonder why Goldberg hasn't been in the Sharknado episode yet.
Logan, I'm gonna go binge watch every season of Goldberg's show about bikes on Discovery, wherever the fuck it's on.
That's funny. You would do something like that just to...
Anyways, I think it's late for all of us. We should probably wrap it up eventually. But my grade for the match...
I just wanted to say one last... I've been trying to say something about Daniel Bryan. I was going to say, as for Daniel Bryan, this reminded me so much of someone who came out to the ring on a Smackdown show to go face-to-face with Kurt Angle. He uttered 2 words, ruthless aggression, smacked Kurt Angle in the face, gave him a fight no matter how short he came to beating him, and he showcased he wasn't afraid. Now, for Daniel Bryan is showing...
That man was Shelton Benjamin.
I thought it was Luther Reigns.
Daniel Bryan is showing ruthless aggression, those stomps.
Oh, no, I remember who it was. Insane. It was Jesus. Remember Jesus? John Cena didn't he get stabbed at Survivor Series or something?
No, it was... Oh, God. Oh, God. It was...
He chased him out of the building.
it was Carlito's bodyguard, and the storyline was he stabbed John Cena in a nightclub.
Yeah. And then
what was the bodyguard's name? It started with a B, right?
Jesus.
No, it wasn't Jesus. It was...
Yes, it was.
It was Jesus.
That was not Carlito's bodyguard's name. I swear it wasn't.
Well, you better go swear.
It was Jesus, man.
Yep.
I swear to God, it was Jesus.
Oh, no, shit, you're right. You're right, it was Jesus.
Literally, Survivor Series 05 or something? John Cena chased
it was 2005, I believe.
My God, could a show derail any harder than Jesus?
I mean, fuck it, we've talked about Curtis Axel more times than he's been on TV this year.
Alright, let's get to the main event grade and then the final grade for Survivor Series.
I'm gonna grade this match a solid B+, maybe even an A- depending on the mood I'm in. I liked it. I thought it was it was as good as it was gonna be. I knew Lesnar was gonna win, so but they made Bryan, they made it look like he actually had a chance to win. So I'll take it. So yeah, I'll give it a B+.
Okay, Travis.
I'm going to give the show a C+. I don't feel like anyone should probably go out of their way to watch anything besides the Cruiserweight match and just the women's title versus title match, whatever, for the ending. I keep saying it, man, but OJ hit the nail on the head earlier. You're going to forget about this in a month, a week, a month, whatever. It's going to be whatever. Yeah, that's all I got.
What was the grade for the match?
Oh, Daniel Bryan and Brock? Yeah. I liked AJ and Brock better last year. This match was so predictable for me. I didn't enjoy it probably as much as Colin, but I didn't hate it. It was okay. I don't think I'd go back and watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not a match. I don't think it has the replayability that Styles versus Lesnar does. I would go back and watch that match. This match, it's nothing honestly, like I said, I like the show as a whole. As a whole, I enjoyed Survivor Series. But it's also not a show where there's really anything I would, go out of... if you miss the show, just, listen to this podcast, read the results. You don't need to go watch anything. Other than Enzo Amore, that's really the only part of the show.
And that. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, I think that's one of the reasons why I just outright skipped the main event too, was because originally when they announced that it was going to be Styles and Lesnar, I was excited because I thought this will be a good rematch. This will be good. You know, there's something there. So definitely disappointed that wasn't the match that we got.
Yeah, but OJ, what grade did you give this match and the Survivor Series?
Well, I didn't see it, but I'll give it 1 Jesus out of 5.
Quarter of a Shelton Benjamin.
1 Jesus equals quarter of a Shelton Benjamin.
One leg off of Curtis Axel.
There's tons of babies out there around this country with no daddies that are quarter Shelton Benjamin too. So yeah, go ahead.
One suit jacket off of Curtis Axel.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
That sparkly gold suit jacket.
I give this show overall a C-, maybe a D+. Just this whole Survivor Series. Once again, Survivor Series is probably like my favorite out of the big 4 because I always enjoyed it.
Christ, I'm so sorry for you.
I'm actually right there with him. As a kid, Survivor Series is always my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing just weeks of TV, seeing how teams came together and everything, it was fascinating to me. And I mean, especially when it wasn't this whole brand versus brand. When it was, hey, there's some baby faces from this show and some heels from this show, or from a bunch of different shows, and they're gonna all come together and they're all gonna face off. So you would get different combinations of guys, and this is just a bastardized event now. It's basically just what was the name of that show? They had a pay-per-view where it was specifically Raw versus SmackDown.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights, right.
Fun fact, it's the only DVD of a pay-per-view I have. Don't ask me why. Wow. I just somewhere in my house I have one of the DVDs for Bragging Rights.
I do believe I have that as well, Colin. So you're not alone.
I'm not alone.
I have Capital Punishment on DVD, so I'll see your Bragging Rights.
Hey, fuck it. I liked Capital Punishment. I want Main Event R-Truth to be a thing again.
It sure is, and there's like your 8th R-Truth reference of the night. You're welcome.
Does it have the Obama logo or whatever character on the cover?
No, it's John Cena standing like George Washington with like a flag over like 2 skyscrapers.
Damn. That sucks. Yeah, no, because remember what was it? Had the Obama and the referee outfit.
2010 was a wild year.
It was like boring.
But anyways, yeah. So this show just continues to derail my faith in Survivor Series as a show. I mean, what's funny is I remember a few years ago there was rumors speculating about Vince wanting to get rid of it, and there was such backlash because of it. But now I think that he was right. I think he should have just killed it off, along with the rest of the company.
Yeah, I think people have moved on from like just big tag matches for the sake of having. Like as a kid, it was amazing to see Jake the Snake Hogan and Demolition on a team. But now I don't know if kids today, man, they don't have that patience. I don't think the guys today have that kind of off the charts star power jump off the screen like a Hogan and Demolition did either. So you say, oh, it's that guy that works at Applebee's and a bunch of guys with red shirts versus like there's star power there, but I don't think it's the same like when we saw it. And there's so many other options now with other promotions, like we always fucking say time and time again, it's just not the same special feeling. I'm kind of with you. If they're going to do it, I feel like this will be the best route to go, a bragging rights type thing, Raw versus SmackDown. Just do it better.
The thing, Travis, is like sometimes like a Survivor Series match doesn't even need star power, it just needs something to it. I mean, do you remember, what was it, Hogan, or not Hogan, Bischoff versus Austin? When it was, basically the losing team had to leave or whatever, or
is that the one Logan when Maven main evented a pay-per-view?
No, that was the next year. But let me tell you something. That match had no star power to it, but I was invested because it was for control of Raw. Like the 4 wrestlers that won got to control Raw for the next month.
Yeah, this was just a dick measuring contest. What show was better? Nothing.
Right.
The thing we didn't really mention. I mean, it was there, but we didn't actually mention it by name. Is the fact that fucking SmackDown got ethered tonight.
Yeah.
Which is, that's
Which
complete.
begs the question, why the fuck does SmackDown get the Fox deal? I mean, what was the point? Because, I mean, SmackDown's about to be going to Fox, and they fucking got ethered tonight on the main card. And, I mean, I'm a firm believer in hashtag the pre-show matters. They did not get swept. They was 6-1. So give the tag team division credit. But, yeah, I mean, SmackDown got destroyed tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's a question. Why bother doing it if it's going to just be...
I just gotta say, Ray Jr. in the chat says, I always liked In Your House as a kid. And he says he has WrestleMania 21 on DVD. And I just want to give my grade on everything for the main event and all. The main event grade I gave it was a B- for the Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. And as a whole, for Survivor Series 2018, I also gave it a B-.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
There you go.
Overall, the show, I'd give it a... Oh, that's... I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not a show I would go back and watch again, but for the day, I enjoyed it. I'll give it a B-.
Okay.
Traps, what did you give it?
C.
C.
See you real soon.
See you next Tuesday, Mrs. Puff.
C is in Curtis Axel, of course.
Exactly. Yep.
C is for Curtis Axel, and that's good enough for me.
I'll give it 6 Curtis Axels out of 20.
I'll give it 3 Jesuses out of 20 stab wounds on John Cena.
I'll give it 2 Shelton Benjamins, a Sabu, and a quarter Repo Man.
Oh my god.
I'll give it 1 Matt Hardy mugshot and a.
I'll give it 4
That's
James
correct.
Ellsworth tongue wiggles.
I'll give it Missy Hyde's panties, and I don't know. That's all I got.
I'll give it Mr. Hyatt's panties and Randy Macho Man Savage's autism.
Deal. You got a fucking...
I'm done. I think we're done for the night.
I think that's a good place to call it.
Alright guys, I think that's we should wrap it up. It's getting a little late.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Everybody go ahead and let everybody know where they can check you out on Twitter, just in case they're new to the channel, because we did have 10 people watching live there.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, so I
And
mean,
you guys
like I
had to bring up pantyhose and panties and all that, you know.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, I'm on that Brock Lesnar schedule. You'll probably see me around the Rumble time again. Who knows? Maybe I'll make that occasional house show appearance if the money's right. But follow me on Twitter.
Aren't you the host of 205 Live? or what was it? Cruise Control? What's the show?
Where have you been? Cruise Control hasn't been around. Cruise Control's all but dead, as far as I know. Slam Pigs is on hiatus. Cruise Control just... Once Enzo left, so did we. Not because Enzo left, it just worked out that way.
No.
I
When
think-
Neville left.
No, we did it when Enzo was there. Or at least me and Travis did. I don't fucking remember.
What
at
he
all.
meant to say is, I know what to do
It's back. Enzo's back, guys.
Hey, whatever it is. But like I said, follow me on Twitter at UberTieGuy. Make sure to keep up with me. If my account gets suspended, just don't follow me because, you can't. Because a fun fact, my account briefly got suspended tonight during Survivor Series. So, yeah, make sure to follow me there, though.
That's funny. Go ahead. Travis, thank you for coming on and bringing the Slam Pigs podcast to future entertainment with the simulcast.
Oh, hey, thank you for asking me to come on. Always a fun time. Man, and all 3 of you guys, always fun doing shows with you. Yes, Slam Pigs is on hiatus. Sooner than later, though. Slam Pigs Junior Smack, reset button, never drew a dime, all the goodness, retro gaming, pro wrestling on my channel.
Vicky
Hey,
Pro.
Vicky TMD on YouTube. What?
Vicky Pro.
Hey, Vicky Pro. All the goodness. Yeah, check me out on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Yeah, thanks, guys.
And OJ, my co-host.
Don't follow me anywhere.
Alright,
Leave me
sounds
alone.
You won't like the trail.
Jeez, OJ. Of course, you guys can check me out on Twitter at LoganMyers144. And we will be back very soon. I'll be making some of the show announcements, including more of the Trivia Mania. I think the next one I'm going to try to get done is Travis versus Travis versus, is it Jay Silver that I said?
Jesus.
No,
Jesus.
it's Robert Gibson.
Robert Gibson?
Robert Gibson?
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I got to study up then, because that guy's seen a lot in his day.
No, my bad.
Doesn't he cross-eyed?
Yeah, he looks like the Toxic Crusader with a mullet.
I was gonna say, I don't know how much he's seen.
It is not Robert Gibson.
Scoundrel.
It is not Robert Gibson. He faces James, my bad.
I'll tell you what, Logan, before we
I
go...
thought I eliminated James. What the fuck?
As good as it is to do a show with you, Logan, you're like the fucking Bruiser Brody of doing podcasts with. You don't sell shit for jokes. You don't sell anybody's jokes. You're just like, yeah.
No.
He's like the
OJ's giving you pearls over here.
Colin, for your question...
every time I try to give him a move, he just chops me down.
You're welcome.
He's Walter.
Breaks your face.
Exactly. Now, Colin, I did a randomizer to bring somebody back to face, to replace somebody, and James was the name. So.
Guess I'll have to put him down a second time.
So who's Robert Gibson? Wait a second. What do you mean Robert Gibson's doing Trivia Mania?
Roberto Gibson or whatever.
Oh, you didn't say Robert. See, that changes everything.
It's just the actual Robert Gibson, just in a mustache.
Well, we get Jesus on the show.
I'm picturing Robert Gibson with a mustache being like one of the strangers in Red Dead that you got to help, like a side mission. That's what he looks like.
Oh, are you talking about Logan? Are you talking about Wrestling Redneck or whatever?
Yeah, Roberto Gibson faces James, and Travis actually faces Wrestling Redneck. My bad.
And I'm gonna beat Jim, beat the fuck out of Travis's brother Mike, and then I'm gonna win it all. He says with no confidence.
Are you fucking dreaming?
What?
Well, are you?
Logan, you okay, man?
What do you mean, am I okay?
I'm gonna slaughter all of them. I am going to be Trivia Mania champion.
That's funny.
I don't
bring me. I'm gonna pull a Samoa Joe. Bring me Mike or bring me my title.
I'm gonna pull a Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm gonna phone him in because I don't even deserve to have a second chance. I don't even want to be here. I lost fair and square.
You can't do this to me.
I'm gonna pull an Enzo Amore, and I'm just gonna fucking yell at you guys for not getting.
And then Bret Hart's gonna come out.
You're gonna yell at us from the second row.
Travis,
I'm gonna get eliminated.
Tracks are on your album, OJ.
I'm gonna real quick. I just want to add to that. I'm gonna pull an R-Truth. I'm gonna get eliminated, then show up to the finals anyways, saying I'm ready to compete.
Would you ask Travis? I want to hear what you say.
Oh, I just said how many tracks are going to be on your new album, but the joke passed with Enzo. And sorry.
What's a good number? 69. It's a funny number.
Bro.
Travis, you do know what year you're facing Wrestling Redneck, right?
I do now. I've lowered the bar of excitement. No offense to him, but you go from facing a Hall of Famer and Robert Gibson to, Wrestling Redneck. He's a nice guy, but you got my hopes up, Logan.
Logan, what year is it? I don't even know what year it is.
2004.
Hey, Colin, there's been a change of plans. Your opponent's going to be fucking Ric Flair this week. So get ready.
I'm going to fucking ace that shit. I'm a wreck Ric Flair shit.
Wait a second, Logan. I know you got connections to business. Is there any way we can get James Ellsworth into Trivia Mania? Or?
Now wait a minute.
I'm sure he's available.
Have a good night, everybody.
He's not doing anything else.
Have a good night, everybody. Stopping the stream now. I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. Have a good night.
Not solicited.